Hi everyone. I welcome you all to the Southeast Asia eCommerce Festive Shopping Summit today. I sincerely hope you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy. So I like to start by thanking each and every one of you who have joined us today. So I am Dharmendra Yadav, working as an enterprise sales consultant for Southeast Asia region at Unicommerce, a leading global e-commerce focused supply chain SaaS platform established 8 years ago, and we are now a market leader used by more than 10,000 plus registered users across India, Middle East, Southeast Asia, and processing somewhere around 2 plus million transactions per day through a platform with an annualized GMV of somewhere around 2.5 billion USD. So we have brought today this two-day summit as we all witnessing an exponential increase growth in the e-commerce. So what we are seeing, like a consumer across all categories are now buying online, and after this pandemic, what we can see is there is a movement towards online increasing day by day. Offline retailers are going online, consumers are going online, and the stats also predict that this festive season is going to be one of the biggest for the e-commerce players. So hence we thought to create this platform where we have 10 plus e-commerce service providers who are leaders and experts in their domain. So with the festive season like around and is coming, so there would be many questions in mind of sellers who are already selling on the marketplace or for the new sellers, like how I can make best out of this festive season. Like there will be question like how I can ensure the profitability, how my discount, how should I work on the discounting part, or how I should be allocating my inventory. And plus there would be many questions in your minds. So we thought why not to bridge this gap. So that is why we brought this the leaders, the experts today, who will be sharing their best case practices and taking all your burning questions to help and make best of this season. So I am really honored and glad to be hosting this session along with my colleague Vandana and Mubashir. And I'm looking forward to have a very engaging sessions. So not taking much time as we are already delayed by 5 minutes. So I'll request my colleague Vandana to brief the audience about the session, and then we can start the session. So over to you, Vandana.
Hi everyone and welcome all. I'm Vandana and I work with the Southeast Asia sales team at Unicommerce. Let me quickly brief you on the format of the session. So we'll be having 5 sessions today from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Each session being of 30 minutes. Each speaker will be giving a presentation for 20 minutes, introducing their services and giving their best case practices. The last 10 minutes will be kept for Q&A, followed by the next session. At the end of the 5th session, we'll be opening the forum for networking and question and answers from audience. That is from 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Those who want to ask questions or clear any concerns from any of the speakers, they can raise their hand and we will give you the rights to interact live with our speakers. Also, we don't want you to hold back your questions and would request you all to post your questions in the Q&A section only and not in the chat box. So yeah, that's it from my side. I'm excited for today. And I think let's start with our first session. Our first session is with Mr. Jeff Sarmiento, Head of Business at Last Mile. Over to you, Jeff. I would request you to introduce yourself and start your presentation. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for that. Let me share my screen. Good day, everyone. So I'm Jeff from Last Mile, co-founder and the head of business. So I'll be sharing to you about our experiences with the current setup with logistics in the Philippines and how we can actually help you optimize and maximize your profit during this festive season through logistics. So Deloitte forecasts that e-commerce sales will grow by 25% during this 2020 holiday and to increase this year by 25% compared to last year's 14.7% in 2019. E-commerce holiday are expected to generate between $182 billion to $196 billion in this season. And the Southeast Asia is one of the largest e-commerce markets. Let me ask you, are you ready to maximize your sales this festive season? Being in the logistics space, I'll be sharing how delivery efficiency would impact your sales and contribute to its growth during the festive season, and how tools to measure operational efficiencies would help maximize your revenue. This presentation will go for both logistics companies and retailers, e-commerce merchants who are operating their own or relying to a third-party logistics providers. Before we get into it, let me give you a quick background of myself and the company I'm representing. So I'm Jeff Sarmiento again, co-founder and the head of business for Last Mile, a shared logistics innovation company, where we created a logistics ecosystem platform products that enables business to operate their own logistics operations with fleet. So the delivery management system that we have that provides operational visibility to your business and provides a real-time reports and update for you to manage your operations better. The next product is our delivery marketplace that provides access to a network of third-party logistics provider options for merchants in one booking platform. So what we do in our second platform is we aggregate logistics service provider, integrate their system to ours so that our customers can access the network of providers in one integration. And to support business growing delivery demands or capacity requirement by providing an on-demand pool of professional delivery personnel, which is our rider deployment platform in the Philippines. Our products are designed to be data-driven, and the goal is to provide visibility on operational data and provide understanding to our customers' last mile operations, because we believe you cannot manage what you cannot measure. With the rapid growth of e-commerce in the region and the last mile deliveries being one of the core components to make an e-commerce business successful, we have been working with different industries, logistics companies, retailers, e-commerce platforms, restaurants, and pretty much those businesses that manage their own operations, regardless if it's outsourced or in-house. For the delivery service, I'm sure we can all relate that. So for the delivery service providers, the logistics service providers, we can all relate that every second counts in your operations. Learning and measuring the profile of your whole operations in every step of the logistics process would help you decide which step to focus and improve, and optimize that activity to increase operational capacity and acquire more opportunities by filling up the freed up capacity and even create bigger profit margin along the way. Squeezing in an additional 5 to 20% from our experience, like having a proper delivery system, actually help our users to squeeze more space in their operational capacity by 5 to 20% increase in their capacity, with having the same size of resources would make a lot of difference with your service costs and even operational performance. Getting the visibility on the right measurement coming from the delivery service personnel with the actual data and operations with very natural, because you deploy it the whole year round. You can measure their real behavior during the operations are expected. And that's the reason why having our fleet delivery management system, they would have a grasp on control and visibility on their performance down the line. So that's the profile of our customers. That's why they actually onboard to us and they make use of Fleet, because they want to understand clearly what's happening to their delivery and their delivery performance. Using a reliable system in place is an important tool that business to have good control of your operations. Using our Fleet system can provide historical measurement of the following: the average completion time per delivery with a timeline breakdown from job creation, dispatching, in transit for delivery, until the reaching the delivery location, until the job has been marked as done, because the delivery personnel already turned over the goods to the recipient. We are tracking all those timestamp and date stamp and recording them as a measurement, so that business can refer to that if which part of the whole operations is a bottleneck and what to improve on. The total distance traveled is also measured and recorded in our system, so you can understand the profile of your delivery team, regardless if it's a four-wheel vehicle or a motorized rider, it's good for you to understand how far can they actually deliver during the day, or what's their capacity, how many kilometers does a normal delivery rider or driver can do in a day, so that you can actually plan and not overload these riders with their performance, and probably in the future you can improve it down the line. It's also important for you to understand your customer's profile. So you need to understand the market that you're servicing from the merchant, because you need to do the first mile and get it from the merchant, and also to your recipient. So you need to understand what's the profile of your customer. If you're running a restaurant and you want to operate your deliveries and you're using fleet, you would need to understand how many meals does your customer normally attend to your driver or delivery personnel when they arrive to the location. Especially nowadays, condominium units, buildings are very popular, and most of the deliveries are done curbside. So you need to understand like how many meals shall you allot for your customers to go down, and how you can optimize them by probably putting notification, which can be used in-app with Fleet. So we can pre-notify your customer that the delivery is on the way. Please expect your delivery rider within X minutes. We can already do that so that the customer will be notified, and they can actually wait for the rider to make the whole process faster. So every second counts. Our platform Fleet can also measure the idle time in hub and out of the hub. So regardless if they're inside the hub waiting for the jobs to be assigned and pack the things and deliver, and or if they're outside the hub waiting for another task to be done, the system that we're giving provides data for you to understand further what else you can actually squeeze more or add to your operation, so you can maximize the resources that you hire if you're managing your own rider. And even heat map to understand and review which route did the rider went and where are the density of deliveries, which is very vital when you're planning and organizing your delivery operations. All these can be extracted in one comprehensive report for the business to review and improve the delivery team's performance down the line. And a lot more benefits, like let me cite you an example. In the Philippines, um, the courier tends to normally get calls from the recipients following it up, asking like, what time will the rider arrive to deliver the goods to them? Where exactly the whereabouts of the rider? Will it still be delivered? And a lot of big number of couriers in the Philippines doesn't have a proper system for them to have visibility. And having such system that provides you visibility and measurement, you can easily, without calling the rider, without doing the tedious, like hope the rider will answer my call, I can look into my dashboard and tell my customer, hi, he's 2 kilometers away from you, so please expect the delivery within X minutes, rather than like making your customer annoyed because you cannot provide clear feedback when the rider will arrive. So that will actually improve service, and that will help you retain your customers to your operation. So we're having a real-time delivery management tool would actually help you improve your performance, measure your operations, and also improve your customer satisfaction. So they will stay and trust your delivery operations, and you'll have more. Okay. Here's a simple illustration of one of the biggest e-commerce giant, Amazon, where it shows that as their delivery turnaround decreases, sorry. So as they can deliver the goods faster, so if you can see in 2015, their average delivery time is almost 6 days. And in December 2017, they were able to decrease it to 3.39. And with this data, looking at their revenue, they can actually increase more by big percentage year by year, because they can actually accommodate more items to be fulfilled and delivered to their customer. So these giants are spending a lot of money, which aims to solely improve their last mile operations. And as I read, Amazon's expenditures is roughly around 20% of these expenses, and mainly for last mile. So initially, they had the luxury to fully outsource everything to third party, mostly from the government, their local post. And eventually, recently, they started to actually create and invest their own delivery arm, which is now the fourth largest logistics company in the US. And 60% of their platform deliveries are handled by their own team, which they benefit on, and they can even customize the experience on the delivery. And if you heard, a year ago or 2 years ago, they actually started offering the same day delivery Amazon Prime Delivery that changes the game for e-commerce. Because previously, like e-commerce are expected to be delivered during a timeline of the courier, like within 2 to 3 days, depending on the distance of the delivery or the location of the recipient. But now, they're actually changing the game by offering the same day delivery. So imagine in 2019, their own delivery unit that they invested on and they actually prepared, understand, and operate, they delivered 1.2 billion parcel, which comprised of 48% of their transaction. And this year, from the recent report, they were actually doing or delivering, fulfilling 60% of their parcels. So, with that being said, I like having a hybrid model of delivery is it's a very useful model for you to be efficient and to offer your deliveries to your customers better. With the advancement of technology and advancement of access to the internet network, consumers are now getting more demanding and expecting a lot more when they're making purchases online. These are the data that we got online that 56% of the online consumers expect same day or rush delivery to be added in the e-commerce because they need the items when they're ordering it. 61% of the consumers are willing to pay more for same day deliveries. And 49% of the shoppers say quicker delivery timeline makes more likely them to shop online. And 25% of the shoppers would likely most abandon the cart if the desired delivery timeline cannot be reached. So right now, if you can see the competition, it's about who can deliver the products faster to their customer. So if you notice, like a lot of the e-commerce platform or sellers right now, even here in the Philippines, it's becoming a trend that they wanted to offer to deliver the goods the same day to their customers. An e-commerce benefits hugely on delivery efficiency. The faster you can deliver the goods to your customer, the larger profit you can generate. And exactly how it goes, especially here in the Philippines, where cash on delivery is very important. Cash is king in the Philippines. Where in our use case, when a merchant started offering same-day COD service, their failure of delivery and return to sender transactions and refusal of the customers to receive the items and pay for it was drastically minimized because the items was delivered when they needed. They have saved on courier fees, especially the return to sender fees where they didn't earn but they still had to pay for the courier services. Because of like offering such model and understanding the benefits of it, it actually gave them like a better chances of earning and maximizing their margin and their sales during the season whenever they sell the items to the customers. We have been dealing with two types of customer, which is fully outsourced and those who operate their own in-house deliveries. With the ecosystem platform we created in Last Mile, we are championing the hybrid model of deliveries. In the Philippines, where it brings flexibility, so in the Philippines, we're offering the hybrid model of deliveries where it brings flexibility to the merchants, where customers will be using fleet delivery tool to be capable of operating their in-house delivery riders to cater their serviceable area. So this company will actually set their serviceable area, and whatever is off or away from their serviceable area, through our ecosystem, they can outsource it to a third party of their choice seamlessly in few clicks of a button or even automated. So if it's within the serviceable area, a job will be created to their delivery system. And if it's not on their serviceable area, they can set up which provider they would like to service them through the ecosystem platform we created in one integration. We have observed and heard success feedback from our customer on such model that it gives them seamless flexibility in their operations by hiring delivery resource enough for them to maximize and outsource whatever their own delivery team cannot fulfill. So it's more like logistics is more on the capacity. So it's important for you to actually understand the capacity of your rider for you to maximize them and for you could probably earn something out of it. And what if you're not ready or if you don't think you can fill the capacity of one rider, it will be an expense. So ideally, you can just outsource them until you're ready to actually operate your own. So the first step to operate the hybrid model, in case you have decided to operate your own delivery team, I'm not saying you should offer your customer same-day deliveries right away to be competitive or 24 hours delivery. Like most huge e-commerce brands who are now aggressively offering same-day or guaranteed next-day deliveries, they started by offering more conservative commitment periods, such as 2 days, and plan out your dispatch process. to your customers, which could be fast, still be faster than having outsourced, and the benefit of you being able to customize the delivery experience to your customer while having the right tools, and business should be able to measure their KPI. You can actually improve everything along the way. It's really important for business to understand their end-to-end operation, well, from the order fulfillment, last mile delivery capability and preference, and even the customer profile and behavior. With the comprehensive platform that we can provide in last mile, we can provide you flexibility whether you tend to operate your own, outsource it, or fully to a third party, or implement the hybrid model. Last mile can help you kick it off to achieve better performance during this festive season. We can provide you a more flexible delivery management with our systems ecosystem in last mile. So ideally, with the three products that we have, the delivery management system, the real-time visibility of your operations, and you get to plan, dispatch, plan the route for your delivery, integrated with our delivery marketplace platform in the Philippines, where even offshore, we can actually pre-integrate other preferred providers, so you can seamlessly pass your request to your preferred provider for you to operate your hybrid model. You can actually create your operational flexibility and achieve your optimized setup for your delivery operations and service your customers well. So that's last mile. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jeff. This was amazing. So, Jeff, I have actually a few questions with the interest of audience, with the massive interest of audience that we have currently here. Could you also focus on the major metrics and deltas that you focus on when you are talking about hybrid delivery for these customers?
Sorry,
I mean the metrics that these customers need to measure in order to see if this hybrid delivery is working well for them.
Okay. So normally they need to weigh, number one, it's definitely the cost, right? So they need to weigh the cost of having their own delivery operations and outsourcing them. So when they onboard riders or delivery personnel to operate their own delivery operations, it needs to be justified where it could be a cost saving. That's why we are really championing the hybrid model, where they can have their own just to satisfy enough for what they've hired, and whatever they cannot fulfill, they can outsource it to a third party. So the metric is mostly like getting the right number of deliveries per rider. So for example, like if the rider would need to head back and forth to the hub and deliver to the customer, how many deliveries can he do per day? And comparing it, if I fully outsource it to a third party, do I save if I'm operating my own, or am I spending am I spending too much and it's not beneficial? My service is too expensive, and it could be a friction for my customers to place an order towards my platform, right? So mostly like it's more of like they need to measure or compute the cost of their delivery with the data or the measured data that they have in the system, like how many deliveries can a rider per day, and if it does make sense with like giving the customer a good experience in their deliveries.
Right. So I'm assuming cost is the biggest one, and then it would be the delta customer satisfaction score that they are getting from their customers, right?
Correct. And the repeat customers, definitely, because of the good experience that they provide if they customize the delivery to their customers according to what they plan to do.
Interesting. Very interesting. And Jeff, so how can a customer, I mean, how can your client, know that if they're ready to hire a dedicated delivery personnel?
Most of the profile of the customer that normally start their own delivery operations are the ones normally that has been operating for a good period of time, where they were able to pinpoint where the density of deliveries are. So customer base. If I know my customer base, it will be easier for me to plan, like, okay, we can start the service there first because the density of the deliveries are there. I can actually service that area first, and whatever outside the area, while I'm still growing it, if I'll outsource it to a third party. So ideally, like if you understand the profile of your business, and if you feel like having your own and customizing the service to your customer by branding the rider, providing like a different approach while meeting the like performing the delivery to your customer, and knowing the density of the delivery that would actually be reasonable for you to cover the cost of the rider per day. I think that's the best time to start with hiring or starting your own delivery operation.
Great,
There are
absolutely.
some few questions at Q&A
Jeff,
session
we
also,
also have
Vandana.
few questions. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I was coming to. We have few questions in the Q&A box. We have the first question from Makul. So he says, what will be the estimate delivery percentage if we deliver same day and normal delivery like after 3-4 days?
If
So, I mean, in the same day, what is the delivery percentage with
okay,
last mile?
like from our ecosystem, what we got is for same day delivery. Like I said earlier, in the Philippines, COD is really popular. So a lot of Filipinos would prefer to pay the goods they ordered online when it's delivered by cash. So having that model, um, the percentage of doing same day, like from the data that we got from the use case that we had, if it's same day, they only had roughly around I think 3 or 4% failure of delivery. And when it's scheduled, if it's COD delivery, so for example, like if it's in a far-flung province, that would take a week or 10 days to deliver, because Philippines is really like um, we have a lot of islands, so it's really separated. Normally, it takes from 12 to 14 days. I've seen return rates or failure delivery rates, RTS rates, for like from 15% to 25%, which is big. So yeah, those are the numbers that we've got operating same day delivery and scheduled delivery.
Interesting. Okay. We have another question from Joey, which is, what is the cost model to implement this, and what are the risks involved in mitigation that we would, have to face if we move to a hybrid kind of model like this?
Okay, for running your own delivery operations, the cost is mainly like if you're gonna use fleet or delivery management system, it's as simple as $2, roughly around $2 per user per month, plus subscription also for the admin. So roughly around $5 to $10, depending on the volume of resources that you'll be deploying, plus the transactional that we have, like very minimal transaction fee. So normally, like a
All right,
startup,
Jeff. Okay.
for a small business here in the Philippines, normally it only costs them roughly around less than $1,000 for the whole year to operate their own delivery operations with the systems like us. But of course, you need to consider other costs, such as like these resources would need to have mobile data, mobile phones, enough to run the mobile app and all. And also, like if you were starting your own rider, you need to like equip them with motorcycle, their own delivery boxes, and everything else for them to operate. So those are the initial costs that you need to have, and the rest will be like recurring costs while you use the platform.
Very interesting, Jeff. I think this is very innovative, and we look forward into your. In the last networking session as well. In the interest of time, we'll have to move to the next session. Thank you so much for coming
Thank you.
today, and
Thank you, Jeff.
see you
Thank
in
you.
the last networking session.
And I hope Makul enjoy you have got your answers. So thank you for putting your questions over here. So now moving towards our next speaker. So Vandana, can you introduce our next speaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, let's move to our next session. Our next session is with Christophe Bacon, who is the founder and managing partner at OmniStrada. Christophe, are you there? I think I'll just give
Yeah.
you the rights over to you. Please give your introduction and then let's take the session forward. Just give me a sec.
Let me share my screen. You guys can see that?
Yeah, Christophe.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right. So I'm just going to organize my screen quickly here. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Christophe Bacon. I'm the founder and managing partner of OmniStrada. So thank you for taking the time today to join this discussion. I hope you're going to find it interesting. So my goal today is to leave you with some interesting pointer and insight to lead the digital transformation of your business, and I hope you will find the session useful. What I would like to share with you is our perceptions on how 2020 and the holiday season in particular for the rest of the year will be pivotal for businesses to accelerate their digital transformation, and our recommended approach on how to move forward from here. Very briefly, I'd like to give you an overview of who we are. So OmniStrada is a boutique digital consulting practice based in Singapore, set up more than 4 years ago now. And we are advising both B2B and B2C businesses across Asia, primarily focusing on strategic planning and project activation. Okay, we've worked with companies like OSIM, GNC, B2B businesses, DSM, healthcare industry, also companies like YTL, right? And long track record of e-commerce and combined expertise when it comes to digital and e-commerce. So let's try to really get to the topic of this seminar and what we'd like to share with you. So we cannot start this discussion and how this year is going to end up and setting I would say the directions of what the 2020s are going to look like in the 20%. So you've seen the numbers, whether it's in the US, where over the the first 3 months of the year, e-commerce has known a growth equivalent to 10 years of the previous growth, whether that's in the US. When we look at Alibaba alone, closer to the region, their first quarter of 2020, Tmall saw a global GMV growing over 40% year on year. Lazada, a bit more closer to home here, in Southeast Asia, also see its order growth of 100% in the first quarter of this year. And when we look with other pointers and other data points from JD.com, their first semester, so more than 10,000 FMCG brands on their platform, getting a growth of more than 100%. You had 200 brands that achieved over $15 million in sales online on JD.com, and more than 20 brands with over 150 million US dollar online. So the impact is taken for granted now. I mean, the numbers are here. You would have your own impact on your business. But what we could all converge to agree is that the COVID-19 pandemic has drastically changed the business landscape for B2B and B2C business alone, and to the point of changing the value chain. And we're expecting that impact to be long-lasting and to constantly change the customer behavior and priorities. So even when safe and people might return or will return to physical stores, most likely they will have a renewed passion for omnichannel signature experience, omnichannel experiences with brands and retailers. And so that's the type of things we can't forget, including as we end the year and really set up, the next phase of your digital transformation. So we believe that some of those digital shopping habits built during the outbreak will stick. And so we should consider this as much as we are finishing the year, but entering 2021. So there are high hopes for the holiday season. We will have those hopes. The impact of COVID is leading analysts to predict a robust e-commerce growth during the holiday season, and provides hope for retailers in overall. When we look at the numbers for 618 and 99, they have shown themselves robust results this year, whether it's 99 around 618 in June and 99 a bit more recently. But what I want to do is, and of course, we are actually seeing that 11 or expecting 11 to be key in the continued revitalization of the consumer's demand in the region. But what I would like to put, bring attention during the sessions and focus on it, and is actually that headline, right? The fact that this surge, right, this change in customer behavior and expectations, and this surge of e-commerce transaction that will happen during the holiday season will put a lot of retailers online strategy to the test. Okay, and so what it means is that those high hopes for the holiday season will bring an ever-increasing prominence of more and more complex flash sales campaigns elaborated by competing marketplaces, and that will raise the stakes even further for your business. So a lot of businesses have been relying to date on getting the basic principles of their brand.com strategy, their own e-business and e-commerce strategy, but very much relying on well-funded, subsidized campaign on marketplaces and switching that. And I'd like to really deep dive a bit on this. So there are high hopes, again, but we need to also be cautious about the impact of this. So when we start looking a bit more of the success of the marketplaces and their sheer volume, right? Alibaba, JD.com, and Pinduoduo, when we look at China, we come on 83%, right? More than 83%, 83.6% of the retail e-commerce market in 2020. That's another 3 points compared to last year. And with Alibaba getting the lion's share at 65%. I think the next one is JD at 25%. So when we look at the details of the numbers are covered. So if we look at 1111 and 618 in the most recent times, Alibaba reported 38.4 billion sales in 1111 last year, with a growth of 26% compared to the previous year. For some rising brands leveraging those platforms, 1111 represented as much as 25% of sales for the entire year. Alibaba and JD.com handled $136.5 billion on 618 this year. So this is just out of the COVID lockdown, right, for Chinese consumers, which is a 33% increase compared to last year for JD. When we look at this holiday season coming in and 11, when we look at some of the numbers out there, and we're not going to go into all of them, but JD will offer more than 200 million goods at 50% discount, more than 300 million new products during the 21st day or festival period of the 11/11, and really putting forward more recent features that these marketplaces have embraced around live stream, which is live streaming becoming a prominent feature of this event, and potentially a prominent feature of e-commerce in the next years to come, inviting more than 300 celebrities to this. So with such dominance, you really need to think about how to actually position yourself in relation to marketplaces that have such a dominance, when the marketplaces are setting the rules of the game and dictating the terms. And potentially for some of you, some of your businesses, some of the brands, it might actually become a dangerous gambling addiction that you might actually be the end loser over time. Though fueling the growth of promotional event as a strategy caused severe disruption to the core business, with increasingly more demanding marketplaces, directives, and requirements. And I think for some of you who are really relying on this, you can actually see how it starts sucking a lot more resources, advertising resources, operational resources, a lot more complexity on how to run your business, and actually increasing the risk of success and potentially profitability. Marketplaces are leveraging their market dominance to shift the seasonality narrative, which generally is according to your brand and your customer. So shifting the seasonality narrative, the marketing strategies, as well as product and customer life cycles to their advantage. So not all businesses are prepared, right? And so if we look at the details of potentially the risk, right, or the things you need to address, right, it's how potentially these strategies of flash sale strategies plus the marketplaces predominance and your positioning within those marketplaces and during those campaigns, on how it potentially cannibalizes and dilutes the hard-earned brand equity and that you have built and established, and commoditize the product USPs with such an offering, mostly catering for consumers' price sensitivity with an unmatched convenience. I mean, again, marketplaces are winning the game with the sheer amount of resources and competencies and capabilities that they have. That is tough for companies to actually keep up with. These are no longer channels of stock clearance, right? This is no longer an outlet channel or a stock clearance campaigns that you can run. These marketplaces expect more out of brands in return. So businesses are expected to allocate substantial marketing budgets and bring new merchandise or campaigns if they want to succeed during those campaigns, and the terms are set very early on as you enter in those collaboration and those discussion. They create unprecedented, I should not write words that I can't pronounce, creates unprecedented stress on procurement, new product development, R&D, merchandising department to deliver high quality results and faster than most merchandising teams have to work with, especially if we take some more complex product or product categories. And the same applies to IT, customer service, logistics, marketing teams, and processes to deal with the extreme load surge, right? Instead of having a bit of a 12-month customer life cycle, a lot of it gets to start concentrated over the period of 4 to 5 months. Right? It requires a hands-on and on-deck operations, unprecedented processes with a high service level agreement. And I think for me, the ones that matters the most is the fact that a lot of the, if you want that addictions to marketplaces or that reliance on marketplaces and on the holiday season is actually getting businesses to hand out their customers and share of wallet to marketplaces, breaking the customer relationship and brand experience. And I do believe that that's actually, in the long term, that's a danger. Okay, so
I'm pretty
yes.
sorry to interrupt. I think we are not able to see the screen. I mean, full screen. It's a half screen. Can you, zoom it a bit?
So you're not seeing the slides?
Yeah, now it's fine. All good. Thank you.
So you're seeing my screen, not my slide. Sorry, you shouldn't see the notes, right? So hang on. Let me stop.
No, we were able to see. We were able to see your screen, but it was not zoomed in. Now it's fine.
That's what I'm saying. I need to share
now you can share it again.
The slideshow and not the screen. Okay, is that good?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. What's this? Okay, that's still the full slideshow, right? Okay, so there is a mounting pressure on businesses in regards to their omnichannel capability. That abrupt shift to e-commerce due to COVID is mounting pressure on omnichannel capability beyond digital e-commerce performance. That tremendous pressure, forces to shift stores' resources into fulfillment centers to process unexpectedly high numbers and orders, and that's the list, right? I mean, potentially other resources within the company, or actually having to bring new type of resources within the organization. As online sales grow to historic levels, retailers will feel significant pressure on margins due to e-commerce recruitment and logistic cost and efficiencies. And I think with the panelists that you have today and tomorrow, some of these could be addressed by partnering with the right partners. There is also a lack of the issues that not being able to properly set up to actually deal with this type of surge in orders in a short period of time is the lack of visibility and transparency about stocks and products. Product stocks and delays in shipping will create shopper frustration. When you think about your own operation, e-commerce operation, or when it's on marketplaces actually will start decreasing your score, your ratings, and eventually not give you, the share of voice that you could actually vote for. And so customer frustrations that will be sanctioned by marketplaces, ineffective online market campaigns that result in high acquisitions when everyone is bidding for the same customer at the same time. And those are the things that you need to keep in mind as well. So everyone's betting on e-commerce, we know it's going to happen. But I mean, the economics of them are still not fine-tuned. It's tough for business to actually, adjust them. And there's going to be increased complexities around trying to match the customer lifecycle and expectations with the business cadence, right? So all of these are additional pressure that businesses will have to address as, we have a shift to e-commerce and especially being tested with the holiday season. So 2020, I think we can all agree that is a pivotal year for e-commerce. And so what we're going to see is that we're going to see both at the same time, and it's a challenge, and it will be an opportunity of stress testing and exposing companies' digital capabilities weaknesses. And I think I would encourage everybody in these, in these stations attending these webinars to actually really look at this as part of not only the day-to-day work that you're doing, but also sensibilizing the rest of the management team, as well as showcasing the value of digital transformation initiatives. Hopefully, we will not have to actually fight with business leaders on the value of e-commerce and omnichannel strategies. So in such a fast pace of change, digital capability and agility will allow winners to capture the lion's share as the digital capability gap across industries widens the performance gaps among businesses. So where do we go from here? Right? So the way we see it is that with such a pivotal year for e-commerce, we do believe that businesses now need to reassess their digital capabilities and accelerate their transformation program, not only to survive and go through this year and this holiday season, and providing short-term solutions to employees, customers, and stakeholders, but also to position the business for the long term. This will require sustained investment in digital transformation and omnichannel. And what we are seeing is that the ones who started 5-10 years ago, these investments are currently paying off for some of those retailers and giving them a better chance to succeed in today's environment. The laggards must close that digital gap, and so if you're behind, you better get on with it and accelerate your digital transformation over those 6 to 12 months. B2B and B2C businesses alike have to lay out a plan.
Christophe, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Come in.
I'm sorry. I think, again, we are able to see your slideshow and not just the slide.
Okay, this is
now,
not good.
Yeah, now it's fine.
Yeah, but because you're seeing my screen, and it's not the way it should be.
I think when you start speaking, it comes back to slideshow.
Okay.
Now it's all good.
It's all good. Okay, so let me try.
Yes.
So before you go, right? Let me know if I switch here, you still see the slide, or you see my speaker views?
I see the slideshow now.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, so moving ahead, the way we moving ahead,
Christophe,
yes.
I don't see the slide. I see the slideshow.
Okay.
I'm not. The screen. I mean, I'm able to see the whole screen. Now it's good.
Now it's good.
Okay, guys. Okay, good. Okay, so how to move ahead? So you really need to start looking at your digital transformation and really reassess your capability gap. So the things we would like to encourage you is that consider what the, keep in consideration that it's not just about building your e-commerce channel, your brand.com, and your merchant account on marketplaces. We encourage everybody to understand the customer journey. So in general, what do we see and what we understand, right? Is that excellent customer services, in addition to loyalty program, will allow you to win over the customers and retain their loyalty. Building convenience around similar best practices that marketplaces and cartel aggregators are building is key. And you need to think that it's a conversation, and one that is increasingly digital, omni-channel, where digital self-service is more important than ever before. Right? So you need to think of omni-channel as an integrated, personalized, seamless experience 24/7. Where you offer the same merchandising, the same pricing, the same discounts, whether you're offline and online. And this is also a departure to what businesses have been able to probably achieve across the region. Conscious of time, I just want to try to get you through our approach and the best practices. The success factor is to really assess where you are. That's the first step. Understanding whether you are actually in the leading category in the transformative stage. We do believe that you need to actually assess where you are and start work on the strategic planning to actually reach the level of best practices and category leaders. So you need to articulate a strategic plan that will allow the organization to transform and address, address all the customers' expectations. You need to have a strategic plan that address all the business type, from the multi-channel commerce touch point, the order management, and like to considering perhaps solutions like Unicommerce that address those two parts, reviewing, working with the different teams around your offering and content. You will have to reassess your value propositions to cater for the loyal omnichannel customers in order for you to win. And of course, look at enhancing your digital marketing capabilities, right? So I just
We have 5 more minutes.
Right. So just in the conscious of time,
Yeah.
right? And that's actually my slide before we could, my slide. And I'm sorry if you couldn't see the whole slides before. But if we were going to look, and especially for companies that are like us, right? We really need to accelerate within the next 6 to 12 months time their digital transformation and build a strategic plan, enhance the capability building of the company, and really have the whole company going through that transformation. Is that we believe that there are more or less 8 building stones of that approach that you should consider. The first thing is to start with the customer and really reassess, revisit the whole customer journey, between the customer journey that is expected as much as the one you're capable of doing in across all customer touchpoints, and see how you are actually able to deliver a consistent and seamless brand and product experience across all the customer touchpoints. So you start with the customer. You don't start with the tech stack. Technology is not the key component of digital transformation. Technology is there to enable. So start with the customer. Keep in mind that transformation is omnichannel, so it's not just by looking at digital transformation, just by enabling your e-commerce and online marketing capability. It's across your offline value proposition and online value proposition, and really merge those two together. You need to build a digital transformation strategic plan. That will give you an alignment across all departments, a singular vision to go behind, a roadmap for the business, and the capacity to prioritize what matters more, and especially again if you start with the customer, by prioritizing initiatives that are a direct positive impact on the customer. So that allows for businesses to be a bit more pragmatic and tactical about resource allocation, prioritization of budgets within, I would say, a more midterm digital transformation. Focus on the fourth component of building stone is about capability and change management. You will not be able to operate the business in an omnichannel environment where your business should already expect to target a 2-digit contribution from online without really changing the way the business works. Right? The fifth is about leveraging cloud technology to enable the transformation. it is cost effective. It allows you to actually get best practices in SOPs within the organization, when in the region we tend to see that businesses have not always adopted best practices and SOPs to operate their business. And when it comes to digital, you cannot afford to actually just throw people at fixing the problem. So embracing SOPs, best practices, and cloud allows you to be a bit more cost effective and tactical. You will be able to increase your efficiency and competitive advantage with automation. That is across all the business type, whether it's in your operations or to the point of marketing. That will allow you to find efficiencies, but also operate at scale, and also, of course, being able to address surges in demand when you start having flash sales campaigns like 11/11 and the other campaigns that marketplaces are actually dictating. Now, if you there, you will be able to start providing personalized interaction and such one, which is the expectations of any customers who want to have a one-on-one relationship with the brand and products. So that forces businesses to look at personalization to different degrees. It doesn't always mean personalization of product, but definitely in terms of the way you treat customers and return customers. And for me, the ultimate one is about owning the customer with data analytics. So the same way you start with a customer, you're leveraging automation, personalization, and data to own your customer. And I do believe that you will have to actually look at one of your objectives with your digital transformation and your omnichannel strategies is to really own the customer and really being able to establish that long-lasting strategy for success. How are we doing in time? Because now I'm only seeing my slides since I can't see my speakers more. Where are we? Vandana?
Yes, Christophe, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. This was great, Christophe. In the interest of time, I'll just take one or two questions for the audience.
There's one question in Q&A.
So, I think it's not very valid in terms of the session, but yeah. For the audience, I would focus on what are the major, again, metrics that your clients or prospects should see in order to, build an efficient omni-channel strategy. Could you give like certain metrics that they should keep in mind? Well, I mean, again, that they can measure.
Yeah, and so metrics, you would have multiple KPIs across the funnel, right? But if I have to really start at the highest level, first of all, is to make sure that whatever is going to drive your business, your business transformation and your digital transformation is with the aim to consider that now it is clear that if online is not contributing to a 2-digit contribution to your business, right? And when I say contribution, it doesn't have to be online transaction, right? But if you're not, between 10 and 25% contribution for online, that means you're probably behind, right? Because this is what we're going to go. And that will vary with the category. So really 10,000, feet high, you would want to make sure that you're preparing to have a 2-digit contribution of online towards your business. And that means starting reallocating your resources towards that, right? So from that moment, then at every single, I would say the other key metrics and KPI is your customer lifetime value and your acquisition cost for it, right? Because if you start looking at, rather than actually the performance of a single visit, I would say, or purely just limiting the KPIs that most of you probably in this call will start mastering on the e-commerce funnel. These efficiencies are great. For me, they are, micro KPIs that you need to operate on a daily basis and optimize on a daily basis. And again, I think that's going to start becoming more and more optimized with automation. But I think from a business perspective, and again, to actually get the focus of all the business is to understand how many customers do you currently own? What is their lifetime value? What is your customer acquisition cost? And I would say the economics around the acquisition of that customer and the ownership of that customer. So if you actually start your digital transformation plan with that understanding, right, and specific goals around a certain target around those KPIs, then it will be, I would say, quite straightforward to start reallocating resources and looking at the KPIs that matters in each areas of the business, from merchandising, promotion, online marketing, and your attribution strategy. Yeah.
Right, Christophe. Very insightful.
Thank you, Christophe.
And Chris, yeah, okay. So thanks a lot, Christophe. In the interest of time, we'll have to move to the next session, but we'll catch up with you again in the last networking session.
For sure.
Hope to see you there. And we'll
sorry
have more
about
sessions with you.
the mess up with the slide, guys. I apologize.
It happens. Okay.
No problem. No problem.
No problem.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Vandana, let's move to our next speaker, next session.
All right, great. So next we have with us Shiprocket. So we have Gautam, who is co-founder and CEO of Shiprocket. Gautam, are you here?
Hi guys. Hi everyone.
Hi, Gautam.
Hey. Hey.
Hi, Gautam. Thanks a lot for coming. Request you to share your screen and introduce yourself, and then we can move forward to your session.
So can you guys allow me to share the screen?
Yeah, just a second. Are you able to share now?
Yeah, I can see it right now. One second. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, Gautam, we can see.
Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. I'll quickly introduce myself. I am one of the co-founders and CEO at Shiprocket. I largely look after everything around operations, some part of business development, and also I look after the newly launched fulfillment solution by our company, which is called Shiprocket Fulfillment. So I think sticking to the topic around what one should do around this period of festive period where a lot of sales happen online, and what do a company like us and what a seller who's selling online should do to be able to sail through this period as comfortably as possible. Though I'm using our regular deck to take everybody through that. But I'll try and touch upon everything that I know around this. Have anything? Whosoever is, if Dharminder, you are running this from Unicommerce side, you can specifically tell me if there are any points or questions that you think I should be covering as well.
Definitely, Gautam.
Hello.
Hello. So you can start the presentation. When any questions comes, we'll definitely. You can talk more about the logistics, like means how you're helping the retailers, brand owners in terms of logistics. What are the challenges which is generally faced by the sellers, and how you can look after that, and how you're helping them. So you can speak more towards that part.
So great. So let's go through the deck again. Let's understand what are the pain points when sellers start selling online. One is starting with how many pin codes that person can serve. With one courier partner, it's not possible to reach all the nooks and corners of the country. Also, when the customer starts shipping, he is not, because he doesn't have too many orders. The rates, the pricing that he gets normally does not justify it as a business sense, because if your shipment cost is really high, you don't end to make margins or profits. With the limited pin code coverage. So what Shiprocket does is that we have all the courier partners that one needs to service in e-commerce orders in the country today. It also has different weight modules or different service type modules to be able to comply to different needs of the customer. Now, if you want to send a parcel through through a surface mode, or you want to send something which is heavy, all that is possible. And because we service, we are backed with about 12, 13 main partners of ours who help us ship domestically and internationally. The coverage is not a problem, and also based, especially what happens in the festive season is that different locations by different courier partners start getting impacted. So that is basically by the virtue of how many shipments are moving to a particular location. If there are too many locations, if there are too many orders in a particular location, there tends to be some level of service depletion which happens on that particular location. So what our system, because it has several courier partners in this in the system, you can choose to pick any different courier company depending on how well or bad or good they're performing. That is I will talk about that further on in detail. Let's understand what the buyer wants. The buyer is, our buyers in the country are more, the experience that they get is, and the experience that they learn is from what they get from Amazon and Flipkart. So we call this Amazonic experience. So they would want faster delivery. They would want surety around how, at what time, at what day I am going to get my parcel. They want to see the tracking. They want to see the notifications. Uh, and they don't want to pay shipping charges, frankly, right? So all that is something what the seller needs. So as a I think as a provider, our key requirements is to be able to help the seller meet the needs of its buyer. So we'll talk about this further on as we move ahead, and go through different uh, slides on this presentation. Shiprocket supports more than 40,000 customers right now. I think it's about 45,000 customers. We do a whole lot of more than shipments than the mentioned over here. We have all integrations, all major integration into all market specific shopping carts, be it Shopify, Magento. You can easily integrate the platform, and we service all the potential pin codes in the country. Uh, so just to this is a list of things that the platform does to be able to solve the problem. Again, we spoke about how maximized reach can help a seller sell to all the customers in the country, so that you get all the orders that are coming to you are serviceable at the end of the day. uh, the selection of a best courier company, that's a very crucial and a very important step in shipping any order when it comes to e-commerce fulfillment, is to be able to select the courier company which will ship or which will meet the requirements of that particular order. So be it timeline, be it deliverability, be it how the service of that particular courier company is in that particular location at that point of given time. It becomes very important, especially in the season when in the Diwali season, where there is a lot of parcels which are going in to the system, and the system is in a lot of stress. One courier company might be doing bad, and the other courier company might be doing good in a particular zone or a particular location. So that is where our systems come into play, and we understand where a courier company is not able to process because they have too many orders, or their facility or their capacities have been met. And that's where the system starts telling you to use a different courier company for that location. Again, simple solutions. Again, all our solutions are largely data backed and AI backed. So the whole courier recommendation is AI backed, RTO prediction, all those things that we do around processing your orders, is a lot of that is a data backed information, and not just something that we think that is logical. Uh, Again, we also do packaging solutions now. We spoke about intelligent courier allocation. Uh, One more thing which is very important is the experience, the post-order experience that the customer gets. So once he places an order, notifying the user at the right time, and if by any reason there is any delay, letting the customer know that there is a delay with a reason is also something that we specifically do. Return management, analytics to help sellers to be able to track what is happening to their shipments, what has happened to them in the past. So analytics becomes a very important tool when we talk about logistics per se. So we spoke about this. We spoke about different courier partners which are there on the platform. I also spoke about we have all major modes, be it air, surface, express, hyperlocal. We, because of us working with all major partners, we're able to service maximum pin code. That is about 27,000 in the country. These are very general things. I just want to kind of move forward quickly on these and come to this, right? We spoke about this briefly in our earlier slide. Just to kind of dig deep into this, this is, we call this Core recommendation engine. This is a machine learning backed system which we have built. And because of the volumes of the shipments that we do and the information that we've been able to do in the past, I think Shiprocket is one of the best in the country, or maybe the best in the country to be able to do this, where we are able to understand how a courier partner is behaving or performing in a particular zone. Now, when we do that, there are some certain very important metrics around which we try and do this. So first, we call it delivery performance. How is the delivery performance of a particular courier company in a particular zone? And I told you why it is important, specifically around the whole Diwali season. Again, we do similar things for pickup. If the courier company is able to do a pickup in a particular location in a stipulated period of time or not. Undelivered orders or
Gautam,
RTO orders, which is something which is a very important thing.
hi Gautam, Vandana
Yes,
this
Vandana.
side. It will be great if you could focus more on the Southeast Asia sellers as well, because we have a lot of Southeast Asia audience here from Philippines, Singapore, and
I
so
think
you could focus
essentially
on the
what I do,
festive season
Vandana, is
there
the
as well.
problems that I'm stating over here are more or less, something which is very, when you talk about Southeast Asia or MENA regions, the problems are very similar. The Korea partners might be a little different, but
Right.
problems are largely very similar in its nature. Again, I don't have a specific slide for Southeast Asia, but
No,
I will be happy to take any questions that might come in.
That's fine.
it's okay, Gautam. You can continue on that. I think
Yeah,
the
sure.
logistics almost like is the same way how it works here, and there's problems remains the same. So it's like what challenges we are facing over there, it would be the same challenges will be there. So if
I'll try
given
my
a session,
best.
we can take it. Yeah.
I'll try my best modulating it for the right audience. But again, I'll be happy to answer any specific questions that they
No
might.
problem. You can continue with the same, and if there is any questions, we can take it that also.
Great. The COD again, also undelivered orders and RTO becomes a very important thing, right? We spoke about this, having all the essential carts on one side and on the other side, for a company side, we have all that capability in place. So between this, our workflow is able to manage all the channels, all the carrier syncs, intelligent courier routing. That means we spoke about it. Generation of labels, generation of invoices, pickup request, automation and tracking, post-order communication to the buyer, post-order communication to the sellers, cash and delivery, etc. So that is something which we manage today through the system. This is only available in India, and we'll be happy to understand if there is any global need for this. But fulfillment becomes a very important thing. Now, if I can speak about the seasonal sales which happen, a lot of sellers who are selling directly to the consumers are shipping from their respective small warehouses. I am not aware if there is any service such like that available in Southeast Asia, but one should really consider using such models. So several of these models are now available in India. They're available outside in the Northern American continent. They're available even in European countries, where a seller, a small seller who does not have the capability of having 4 warehouses across a region or a country, can go and partner with these companies where they can offer them warehousing solutions, and use maybe a platform like Unicommerce to manage the WMS, the workflow around in the warehouses. But the warehouses are then run by these 3PL companies and are able to place the goods closer to the customer. When you are placing goods closer to the customer, there are largely multiple benefits. One benefit that one gets is that the delivery charges of movement of a
Gautam, I think there
shipment.
is some lag at your end. We're not able to hear you.
Is it better now? I didn't do anything, but is it better? Hello.
It's clear for me, Gautam. I think the main may be at your end. You can continue, Gautam. Thank you.
Maybe it's the vendor's internet. Yeah. So when you're able to place goods to the closer to the customer, obviously there are two obvious benefits. One obvious benefit is obviously that you're getting the shipment faster to the customer. Faster to the customer is the same Amazonic experience that, oh, okay, I've ordered it, tomorrow I have it in my hand. That is the experience that the consumer is looking for. Doing that, if you can reduce your shipping cost also, because you're not going within different cities and different regions, and you're just shipping from a location which is closer to the customer. This tends to have a lot of benefit in terms of costing also. Basically it's a win-win where you are able to get the consumer is happier, your cost kind of goes low, or at least the cost do not increase, and you don't have to go through the headache of managing a warehouse. So I think that is a key goal, key point where fulfillment becomes a very important thing. So we spoke about these. Our platform comes out with several key features. It is you can run the whole uh, logistics management can be done entirely through a mobile application. We process COD shipments COD remittances faster than anybody else. We have the capability to pick up from multiple locations. You can save the customer, create barcode scanning through the mobile app. Several features around it that we have capability around this as well. We started with this. I don't think this is relevant for the audience, but standardization around packaging, it becomes a very important thing. So let me not talk about this product of ours. Let us talk about packaging as an overall thing. When it comes to e-commerce, again, packaging is a very essential, important part of the whole e-commerce fulfillment journey. Where packaging is essentially, you have to understand there are multiple benefits or multiple things which will impact basis what kind of packaging one is doing. Let's take first, right? First one is the safety of the goods, the capability of packaging it properly so that the goods reach to the customers in the right way, in the fashion that you want them to be able to get delivered. They don't get damaged, they don't get misplaced. Proper branding tapes are there, so there's no chance of theft or misses there. So that something which happens a lot in India, used to happen a lot, now it's largely controlled. Uh, Using the right tamper-proof packaging, using the right branding tapes, maybe using the right packaging boxes also. The second part is the brand experience. So when you're shipping goods to the customer, experience of the first experience that the customer gets is through the packaging. So when he sees the packet, he's elated by the fact that it's branded. The third large thing that one should be very careful about, and it's not largely a benefit, is if you're using the right type of packaging, it saves your right cost. It saves a lot of shipping cost for you. So if you're sending a small product in a large box, you'll end up spending a whole lot of money around it. So one has to be very careful. I'm sure tools with like Unicommerce provide you with the capability of selection of boxes or selection of the right type of or shipping the goods in the right type of box to be able to make sure that you're shipping the goods in the right box or not. So that's largely around packaging. I don't think this is really relevant for the audience, but very quickly I'll try and take you through this. So whenever a shipment goes to a customer, there is a tendency of some part of the shipment not getting delivered. The main reason around this is there can be several reasons, right? There can be reasons around the shipment not getting the buyer being not there available. Maybe the buyer does not have the cash on delivery money to give to the courier partner, or pure play courier partner's misrepresentation that he actually went there. So these workflows which work around sending communications to the consumer through SMSs, IVRs, or even manual calling from a call center. What we try and do is we're trying to get the information from the consumer if he wants the parcel, or there is a change in his address or his whereabouts or his mobile number if it's not reachable, etc. To be able to get that shipment once it's there, to also convert into a actual sale. If we don't do these activities, they don't tend to get converted into an actual sale also. So this is the workflow which we run. This is what I was talking about. This is essentially important across all geographical locations. Doesn't vary. So when you're using a courier partner, they use their own branding. So if you're shipping the goods through a FedEx, you will get the tracking will normally go on to FedEx. But what Shiprocket also does is give you this beautiful looking mobile responsive own branded tracking page where you can put your own menu. You can put we show you the estimated delivery time the customer will get the parcel in, details around the order. We'll capture the net promoter score or the NPS from the customer along with the feedback. Also, you can place banners on the bottom, as you can see, where the customer can, once on the tracking page, you can direct them back to your website to be able to convert more out of them. So that is where we do a lot of post shipping experience bit. We spoke about these different SMSs and email notifications that go out. We spoke about this also, a superior analytical tool to be able to help you with this. Just a quick time check. Vandana, how much time do we have? Hello?
We have
We have
5
minutes?
yeah,
5 to 10
we
minutes.
have
Yes.
3 to 5 more minutes.
Okay. I think I'll try and this is something which is new. Again, I think Southeast Asia also has a lot of these where which is adopted, where shipment a lot of e-commerce is now happening through the hyperlocal courier or hyperlocal delivery services which are available in country. And more than India, actually, I think Southeast Asia is far more ahead when it comes to because of the how the populations are spread across different regions. So using a local hyperlocal player to be able to deliver a e-commerce parcel also becomes a lot of value for the consumer. So immediate gratification in terms of getting an order, placing an order, and your parcel getting delivered to you within 2 hours or 3 hours. So this is something which we are doing now in India, but something which is actually I think a lot of that is already happening in Southeast Asia. So I'm largely done. I will be happy if I can help you with any questions that there might be. I can stop
Yes,
sharing
Gautam.
this.
I think we have some questions in the audience question Q&A section as well. So there is a question from Ratna Vidhani. She says that I have been in retail and e-commerce for 19 years. And I have just started my e-commerce consulting company. So she wants to understand what is the core of Shiprocket in the e-commerce fulfillment space and key points of differentiation versus others in the market. If you could focus on that.
Okay, so I think core is the recommendation engine. If Ratna is specifically talking about that. So Ratna, the most important thing when you talk about any logistics management system like ours is to be able to, and there are several courier companies at the back of it. So when you talk about India, you have courier partners like Duda Delivery, FedEx, Shadowfax, ExpressBees, and many more. Now, different courier partners have capability of have different capabilities across different regions. And these capabilities keep on changing from time to time because say for example delivery when shipping through a location in Hyderabad might be facing some issue temporarily for the last 3 days. How do you figure that out, or how do you figure out if delivery has reached its capacity in terms of its warehousing or the last mile capability, so that you can route the shipment to somebody else? So that is what core does. That understands what is the history behind a recent history of the performance of the core company, and based on that, based on that, give you a suggestion of which core company one should use. Similarly, there are long-term issues that a customer core company might be facing in a particular location. Those also are all data-backed information, which we then use to be able to select the right core company. If you're selecting the right core company, you're able to then manage some of your key KPIs around delivering on time, making sure the delivery happens, and there is least amount of information which is incorrect from the core company. So basically, that is what the core system does. From how we are differentiated by others in the market, uh, I will not try and make a sales pitch, but I think just by the fact that because we do a whole lot of shipments and we are largely the market leader for a very long time, the data that we write our systems or our product on is backed with much more information, is much more refined in that sense. Also, as an overall product, I think we are also much advanced in understanding our needs of our consumer, our sellers, and we have built systems which are able to help them accordingly.
Right, Gautam. Thank you. Just one last question we'll take in terms of there's a person called Kapil Virbani who asked that how can we go for a maximum of 2 to 3 day of delivery pan India? I mean, yeah. So Gautam, I'm saying that Kapil asked that how can we go for a maximum of 2 to 3 days of delivery pan India?
One can ensure a
Although I mean,
faster
Shiprocket
delivery,
definitely helps in
I
that.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no other way but to have your inventory placed across the country into different. When we launched our fulfillment solution, right now we have about 5 warehouses across the country. Uh, the way these warehouses have been selected right now are, it's all understanding of where does the demand cluster exist. When I am having a warehouse in all my maximum large demand clusters across the country, uh, when you're able to place your inventory there, and you're able to use the right WMS system like eCommerce, end of it, what you're trying to do is you're trying to shorten the time to ship an order, and you're trying to shorten the time of the shipment reaching the customer. So O2S, order to ship time, and ship to delivery time, you're trying to shorten this entire thing. There is no better way to be able to do this but to have the capability of placing these goods across the country. Right now, traditionally, the biggest problem has been that 3PL companies or large warehousing fulfillment companies have been fairly large. Did not have the capability of supporting small brands, small SMEs, medium-sized SMEs. They do not get into that business. I think solutions like ours, which are available across the world, are having flexibility to be able to launch anybody and everybody, irrespective of what the volumes are, to be able to have these stored across the country so that they can be delivered faster. That is something which has changed in the recent times, and that is what is going to lead to that 1 day, 2 day delivery. So if you are in Bangalore and your product is in Bangalore, and I can do a cutoff at 3 o'clock and get the parcel delivered tomorrow morning at 12 p.m. from Bangalore to maximum of what 400 more pin codes. So it can be Bangalore and it can be rural Bangalore and all that region. And if the shipment has to go to Chennai or has to go to Hyderabad, it will get delivered the day after that in a time stipulated period, the stipulated period of time basically. So a whole lot of work that basically goes into something like this, uh, and companies like us are able to solve that. Did I answer your question, Kapil?
I hope Kapil would have got his answer. Thank you, Gautam, for
All right, great. I think
wonderful
this
session.
is
Yeah, Vandana, please.
yeah. I mean, this is a question that each one of us, are struggling with. That how do we, let's say, compete with Amazon like delivery and these D2C brands, and every day we are seeing this. And thank you, Gautam, for coming in and joining us.
Thank you
We
very
hope to
much.
see you in the last half an hour of the networking session, where we'll have more questions for you from the audience. In the interest of time, we'll have to move to the next session.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you and see
Thank you,
you
Bye.
in the
Gautam.
Thank you,
last
Vandana.
Thank
hour.
you.
Thanks, the team. Thanks, Unicommerce team.
Thank
Bye.
you. Yeah, Vandana. Let's move to our next session.
Yes. So, all right. So we have next with us Mr. Avadhoot Revankar from Netcore. Avadhoot, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, I'm there on that.
Okay, great. Maybe you can share your screen and introduce yourself and take up the session next.
Sure. Uh, you're able to see my screen, right?
Yes, Avadhoot, we can.
Yeah.
Cool, perfect. So yeah, I think just to give you a quick intro about me, I head growth for Netcore today, which is an intelligent omni-channel personalization and marketing automation platform. While we'll talk a little bit about what we do, I've kept my topic very focused around 5 things which e-commerce or retail brands should do to make sure that you get your personalization right, which in turn possibly could get you that needed 10x growth. So and these are 5 very very specific. Some are tactical, but these are things you can go back home and kind of implement right away to make your holiday season a lot more better. So that's what I've kept my 30 minutes of slot focused around. Feel free to jump in with any questions that you have in the chat. uh, Okay, so getting started, I have just one quick activity, and this is possibly would be a lot more fun if we were meeting in person. But uh, all of you just tell yourself that you all are awesome, right? Some of you are. I saw some of the chat. Some of you have your own businesses. Some of you have are consultants. I'm sure doing great in your own ways. Just tell yourself you're awesome. Possibly tell someone over here in the group on chat that he's awesome. I will just say Kapil Makhija is awesome for putting all of this together and what he's been doing, and I'm sure he's listening to me right now while I'm talking. And just call either yourself awesome or someone else awesome, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Uh, uh,
So
the
I feel
reason
like all speakers are awesomes now, and attendees who are attending these sessions are the awesomes. So we are all awesomes.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you've called yourself it, or let's say I've called Kapil or Dharmendra or Vandana, that they are awesome. When we do that, it really feels good, right? It really feels, even if let's say some of you would have said it to someone else, but might have not really meant it, but that person did feel good about it. So the point I'm trying to make is that feeling. The question is, are you also giving that feeling to your customers when they come on your website, when they come on your app, when you send out communications to them? Are you giving them that experience that will make them feel awesome about themselves or great about themselves? Is the question we all should ask ourselves. And I feel personally, one of the ways to make that happen is by doing personalization right. By making sure that you're personalizing as much of things on your website, app, communications as possible, because there is too much of clutter out there in the market. Every second day there is another e-commerce retail player being born. So many emails being sent out, so many messages, notifications being sent out. So there is a lot of clutter any which ways in anything and everything that you plan to do. But the only way to kind of create that wow experience is to give that personalized experience, and that's exactly what we will talk about on what are those 5 things you should do to create that kind of an experience. First one, very very basic, and I'm sure some of you probably might be doing this right already, but uh, get your data in place. I think with my experience of working with e-commerce brands across Southeast Asia, India, Middle East, Africa, and other continents as well, we've clearly seen there are a lot of data challenges we come across with any brand that we would possibly interact with, and that becomes a big blocker for them to utilize any technology. could be a automation platform, could be a product recommendation engine, could be any technology platform for that matter. And here are four quick things which you should which I call as the 4M model to kind of fix some of your data pieces. One, clearly make sure that you mend or correct data that's coming into your Google Tag Manager. I think that's like a basic, and I'm again repeating, some of you might be doing it, but we see a lot of brands not maintaining this that well. Second one being merge your user data to catalog data. You have a product catalog data, you have a user data. Merging all of it together, understanding which user is looking at which product becomes super important. And we see these gaps again in a lot of e-commerce brands we converse with. Monitoring and making sure you're maintaining hygiene is again super critical, because you keep on bringing in new features, new things on your platform. Making sure all of it is tracked accurately again is important. And I'm sure some of you've heard of this whole thing of data being the oil and AI is electricity, and some slangs around or jargons around that. And that's the crux of this, and we see these challenges. Even Gartner calls it out that majority of the reason for brands not to utilize platforms well is because of data not being right. And the last one being you marry online and offline data. If you have offline presence, just make sure you're thinking it through on day one. We've come across many situations where they're capturing mobile number at the store but email address on their e-commerce site, and they just are not able to marry that data together and know that it's the same user who is doing purchases at both the places. So I think these are four basic elements that you should take care of when it comes to the data aspect of it. Second being very clearly, value your search results, value the search that happens on your website, because a lot of brands a lot of users come on your website who end up being confused and then end up searching, and explain what I'm trying to say here. Let's look at Angelina as one of the users who's come to your website, and she sees so many products. She possibly has some specific needs. She's confused where to go. She ends up searching, and that search thing is very, very need based, and is actually very close down to your funnel to make sure that she has some intent to purchase some specific product. And while only 20-25% of the people end up searching, that search result or that search outcome is super critical on what brands end up showing. Just giving an example, if let's say Angelina, and what we know about her right now, since she is an anonymous user, we probably know that she's from an iPhone, she's from Singapore. Those are two details we know about her. We don't know her name, but this is just for context. If she searches white t-shirts for women, right? What could be the possible search outcomes that brands could give? Things like there could be high-end products that you could showcase. Knowing the fact that she's coming from an iPhone device, there could be high margin and bestseller products that you could show, because those have worked for you in the past. And there could be something which someone spoke about Amazon like delivery. We're talking about Amazon like recommendations here, where you look at people who've female who've commonly bought these type of products, which is these two products from Singapore, and show those products in the search result, which essentially makes this search outcome very personalized to that user with minimal information about that user. But valuing this search outcome is again super critical for brands, because like I said, there is a need, and if you show the right results, there is a high chance that this user might convert. So that was the point on giving value to search personalization. This is just an example. Halloween is coming in the next 10 odd days or so. If someone searches from US for Halloween, these are products you might end up showing, right? But if you do it from India, there are very different products or very different clothes. These are very traditional clothes back here in India, and those are type of clothes you might want to show, and that's the broad point I'm trying to make in terms of how these results could be very different for different types of users coming on your website or app. Third important point being around tracking your customer footprints. I strongly believe customers leave a lot of footprints on your website, app, or even store for that matter. While we track a lot of them, we've started tracking a lot of them, but we utilize very less of that data. We end up doing very basic things like if he's added to cart, not checked out, send out a cart abandonment email and stuff like that, which is good. Not that that's not important, but there is a lot more that you could do, right? These are all interactions that Angelina as a user would do. She's clicked, she's added to cart, she would buy, she would favorite a product, she would filter something on your listing page, she would search something, which is again high intent. The point we're trying to say is making sure you're utilizing all this data and then trying to understand what are the best products what are the right products for us to show to her, where you're trying to predict, let's say she would there is a 32% chance that she would buy this product, 29% chance that she would buy this skirt, 23% chance that she would buy this purse here, so uh, important is tracking that information, utilizing that information, and then trying to get outcomes and predicting what this user would buy, because a lot of e-commerce brands have 100 products, 500 products, 5,000 products, and so on and so forth. And every user is come on your website to buy that one product, right? So it's important that you help that user discover that one product faster by utilizing as much information as possible. Could be all this, or could be his location, could be his the time or that the user is coming from, the device he's coming from, and so on and so forth. But predicting what that user or Angelina as a user would buy and showing her those products upfront, be it on the home page, your product display page, or any part of the website for that matter. This is just a quick example on, so one aspect of it is about knowing the user. The other aspect of it also is about knowing details about the product, right? Because while you have certain tags which you maintain in your product catalog, here is just a quick example of how we go about it a little differently, where we use image recognition technology to make sure that we are identifying product strings and getting more details about that product. I'll just run this video here. If you see, I'm just taking an image from an e-commerce website and uh, putting it on in our image recognition technology that we've built. It shows the image, and then you will also see the output that it shows. It actually tells you that this particular user, what's this product about. It has concealed zip, it has there are specific things that it would highlight. There is a lining in it, it's floral, it is 3/4 sleeves, which it actually tracks pretty accurately. Gives you a lot more information than what you would have in your product catalog. What this does is this helps us do this whole similar product aspect of it, because now we know more about each of your products. We are able to match each of those products to each other and show similar products to a user who's been browsing something like this in the past. So that's another piece which you could use to make sure that you're getting to know your products a lot more better. And this is how once you know the users better, once you know the product catalog better, you could map it together and say each user has probability to buy respective products, and then start recommending them, each one of them, and each of this is kind of personalized for every single user. And personalized again across the entire journey. So right from the home page, if it's a user, we can solve the cold start problem like we saw, comes from iPhone, from Singapore, we know what to show. The listing page, we know basis what she's browsed in the past. A personalized landing page, and I'll talk more about this as we move forward. This is something we've seen do wonders for a lot of e-commerce brands. product display page where recommendations which you normally see on Amazon and some of the other e-commerce websites. That's essentially what you could do here as well. Doing personalizing the app experience, personalizing the store experience, and even doing it on communication channels and so on and so forth. Doing all of this, it essentially helps you. Amazon says they get 33% of their revenues from recommendations. We've taken a lot of our customers roughly up to 20-25%. But that's the goal, right? You recommend right products, and it starts contributing to your final conversions or revenues, and that's the objective of personalizing that entire customer journey. This is what we've spoken about till now. We personalize your website, app, your communication channels, your search results, and your ads as well. When you want to kind of get in the lookalikes onto your on your website again via Facebook custom audience, you again make sure you show them the right ads of people of products that people you already know have liked, showing their lookalike similar products. Essentially, make sure your cost of acquisition at least goes down by about 8 to 9%. Generally, but that's how you could use personalization across all of these aspects. The fourth, which is the personalized boutique that we saw on the earlier slide, is the whole point is making your users feel special, making them feel awesome. The what we spoke about earlier, right? And we've done it for some of the brands. So, there's this brand called Hermo in Malaysia, for whom we've created a personalized landing page for every user. So when you go onto their website, you will actually see a personalized boutique. So if you see this boutique option here, it's actually a landing page made for every user basis their browsing behaviors, basis their clickstream data, which gets personalized on their website today. And every user sees different products when they come onto that page. It's like the sales representative telling me these are right two products for you to buy. That's exactly what this kind of does. The same, extending it to the same personal boutique, which you see here, right here. You can actually create an Instagram like view when the user is on mobile, on your M site or on your app for that matter. And the reason we did this also was because all of us, especially millennials, are so used to using Instagram, viewing products like how they do on Instagram, and Southeast Asia being the heaviest user when it comes to social media. This makes a lot more sense. And I'll just show you this video of how we actually power this. This is on a dummy site that we have. But if you see, I as a user, I'm browsing, then I go to this personal boutique over here, which you see. The moment I click here, you will see a personal boutique for each user. And if you now see, the listing of this boutique is very similar to Instagram. There is an image, there is a like, there is dislike. You can share it on Facebook, WhatsApp with your friends to, if in case they want to share it right away with just one click. We can add more like Snapchat and few others. But that's essentially the magic. And if you see, the user can just keep scrolling. So they can like a product, they will see similar products basis what they like. They can dislike and they'll see different products. And you can just keep scrolling, just keep scrolling and keep seeing products like you would see photos or images on Instagram. So creating that kind of experience on your website itself is something that we've again seen garner a lot of response. And the last piece, while some brands are starting to explore this, where they can create the same personalized experience even on their store. So if a user comes in, he can go to an kiosk, feed in his mobile number, and he sees the same personal boutique there. Because now we know who that user is. And you could start showing him those personalized recommendations even on the kiosk. So that's again something that you could easily power. These are just some success stories. We spoke about Hermo, where we've created that personalized landing page. We personalize the entire customer journey, right from the homepage to the cross-sell widget on the cart add to cart page, where we've seen about 7% increase in their revenues, about 50% increase in their add to carts because of our omni-channel personalization engine. The same way we've have Hipvan, who's seen about 8 to 9% increase in their revenues using our platform. This is just a quick testimonial from the brand itself, where they've seen great success again, and we are seeing how we could take this, scale this further. And there are many other brands, Hna Mobile from Vietnam, TTS from Vietnam again, Qtro from India, and there are about 100 plus retail and e-commerce brands who've seen success out of this. Broadly, the whole reason behind this success is are the patented AI-based models that we use, which tracks customer eyeball data, which makes these recommendations a lot more accurate, and collaborative and content filtering, which is used and developed along with neural networks, which make sure that all of this learning happens real time. When we saw the personal boutique, you could see if you like a product, you see similar products real time. It actually changes in session when the user is browsing on the site. Last point, I'll quickly skim through this. This is something we've been spending some time on, is knowing who's your best customer, so that you retain and acquire the best customers always, because and when we say knowing the customer, it essentially means creating that one single view and knowing everything about that customer. He's what's his customer lifetime value, which is the most important metric for you to know which users to retain and which users are okay to be okay to let go, while it's never good to let go any customer. What's his favorite most viewed category, preferred brand, what are the products that he's been browsing, and so on and so forth. So creating that single view becomes super critical. And the reason why we say that is it's a known fact that 20% of the customers contribute to 80% of the revenue, and that stands true with almost every e-commerce brand we've spoken to. And that will always stand true. And which is where knowing your best customers and making sure you're spending time on those best customers, is and when I say spending time, it means doing everything to retain them. You can never, while ideal state is you retain everyone, but that would never happen. You focus on retaining your best customers so that if you don't lose them at any cost, and the success flywheel is very clear, right? Customer experience at the center, acquiring the right customers, which are lookalikes of your best customers, retaining the best customers, which is whoever has higher customer lifetime value, making sure you retain them at any cost, and maximizing, which is referrals from the best customers. Like a very, very simple example, there are a lot of referral programs which kind of keep running in the market today. But to give you a very simple example, assuming, let's say, Dharmendra is one of my best customers, I'm an e-commerce platform. And if he's my best customer, I will tell him, if you refer any customer to me, any purchases that customer makes in the next 1 year, or let's say in the next 2 years, you get some percentage of it. And now, because I'm doing it to a very small set of users, I could go ahead and extend more lucrative programs than keeping it generic and saying you get 100 off or $5 or $10 off on the next purchase. So that's how you could basically acquire, retain, and maximize, and of course customer experience being right at the center. Just closing note, maybe 2-3 minutes more. This is a quick view about what Netcore is. We're essentially, like I said, an intelligent omni-channel personalization and customer engagement platform. This is what comes under Netcore Marketing Cloud. We have our automation platform, our web and app engagement platform, our personalization engine, and a customer data platform. And of course, the person standing right in the center is Raman, who's our AI engine. He kind of gives his magic touch across all these 4 products that you see here. This is essentially what we help brands achieve, help them listen to their customers, create a single view, help them do segmentation, personalization on top of this single view, help them analyze this data, and then do real-time journeys across all these communication channels you see, be it app notifications, emails, in-app, web push, WhatsApp, on-site messaging, personalization, which we've spoken in length about. but that's essentially what we help them do. And we also help on, doing retargeting or campaigns to your lookalikes, or let's say retargeting on Facebook custom audience or Instagram or Google Display Network. But that's a quick view of what we help you do. This is the data flywheel, that we help brands achieve. So you pass in data, we give you insights on that data in terms of your DAUs going down, your revenue going down. Raman brings in the intelligence on why this revenue is going down or why these uninstalls are increasing. And finally, you're left on to making sure you're taking the right decisions in terms of what you want to do to, retain users who are expected to churn, or increase that revenue back, or bring that revenue back to normal. So that's essentially the flywheel we help brands achieve. And this is just a quick view. Sorry, I think there's some disturbance. Yeah. So this is what we essentially help brands do and this is the scale that we work at today. About 50 billion events handled monthly, 5 billion notifications sent out, 10 billion emails, segmentation notification speed across 5,000 customers that we have today. And these are just quick things about us. Some of the large brands who work with us across the Southeast Asia and Middle East as a market. Of course, we have a lot of other brands in India as well, but I've focused this around Southeast Asia brands. And here's a quick thing, some of you can note the link, and this is my last slide. We've created an e-commerce marketer's guide for deep personalization. URL is pretty simple, netcoresmartech.com/e-commerce 2020. I'll pass this link on chat as well. You can download this and you'll get more in-depth understanding of some of the things I spoke about in the last 30 minutes. But I think that's largely from my side.
Thank you so much, Avadhoot. This was great. Did you have something?
No, it was a very knowledgeable session, insightful. So I think there are a few questions. There are questions in Q&A section.
Yeah.
So can we take up that?
Sure.
So I think even I was going to ask this question, and Ratna has already asked. If you could focus, Avadhoot, on the terms that, now with the pandemic, a lot of people have lost their offline customers and now they're moving online. How can they, retain and work on those offline customers and bring them back to their online channels that they have lost?
And that's a very good question. So some of the brands who always knew importance of capturing data, even in the offline world, have done better as compared to the ones who were not doing it. But we in general see, most of these offline brands also picking up pretty aggressively on the online front. I'm sure most of you have seen Shopify stocks have gone way up, after the pandemic, because most of them have started opening their stores on Shopify. And I think that's going to be the new reality. While I would say some of them are still setting up their digital teams. They're still getting onto that whole curve of making sure conversions happen online. What we've heard is because of some countries or some cities opening up, while there is a lot of traffic upscale that has happened, like in case of Vijay Sales, which is one of the largest retail brands, they've seen about traffic go up to as high as 1.52 million on their site. But they still see purchases happening on the store, even if there is searches happening on the site, so and that's the because it's to a great extent a mindset shift for a lot of consumers as well. But most of these brands now at least clearly know that online is a must have as compared to maybe before COVID.
Great. Also, so we have a few more questions. So Amalta's asked that can this work on Shopify website as well? I think it does, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It in today's world it has to.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Makul asked that, can you share me the status that who is gonna tell about social media campaigns? Um, okay, I think,
I think this is a different one.
and
Yeah,
I think that's not very
yeah.
relevant. In terms of one more question we have from Ratna, what will it take to bring traditional companies to invest in technology? Yeah, that's actually a good question.
So it possibly was COVID, and you now see them investing in technology. And I think that's a very clear trend. Most of us, I'm sure, are seeing. And I think now from every direct to customer brands or every offline retail brands, at least we've got a lot of requests to make sure they're able to scale online as fast as possible. So I think it's kind of already happened. It would have happened 5 years from now, but I think it's happened a lot more earlier because of COVID.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Perfect. I think Avadhoot, yeah, thank you so much. I mean, do you have something?
No. So we can move to the next session.
Okay,
So
great.
Sure. Thanks everyone.
thank you, Abdul. Thank you for his wonderful insights. I hope attendees would got have taken much more things from yours slides and the sessions.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Avadhoot. We'll see you in the networking session.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
So
next.
now we have Adiyogi, and we have Anshuk Agarwal, who is the co-founder of Adiyogi. Anshuk, are you there?
Yes, Vandana.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Anshu.
All right, great.
Hi, Dharmendra.
Can you please share your screen and introduce and take the session forward?
Absolutely, Vandana. Thank you so much, Unicommerce team. I think this is a great event to be a part of. Vandana, can you just confirm if you're able to see the slides?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we can.
Okay, perfect. All right. So thank you, everyone. I think great time to be talking about e-commerce. And I think Southeast Asia is absolutely the right place for scaling e-commerce. Post-COVID, we have all seen great traction in the e-commerce space. I think Avadhoot also spoke about everybody trying to set up their Shopify stores and trying to sell online. We have also seen a similar experience across the many brands we work with. My name is Anshuk. I'm one of the co-founders of AdYogi. AdYogi is a marketing automation platform. We work with 200 plus global brands in helping them scale their brand stores using Facebook, Google, and other platforms. So today I'll be talking about some of the experiences we have seen in e-commerce, especially about how can a brand scale during the festive season. So I know all of us have seen that during festives, the sales skyrocket on e-commerce platforms. But how can a brand make the most of the festive season? So I'll talk about how do you scale your brand, of course, but more specifically, I'll talk about some festive hacks which you can use while setting up your e-commerce campaigns on Facebook, Google for your brand store. So before we get to really the depth of it, the question is, why should we be talking about festive specific hacks, right? And the reason we are talking about it is because a lot of brands, when they try to market during festive period, whether it is Diwali in India, whether it is Christmas, Halloween, they face a lot of challenges, right? And what kind of challenges are these? Number one, the cost of ads on platforms go up, right? We have seen cases where cost of ads shoot up by like 30, 40, 50% during the festive season. And it becomes very tricky for brands to like optimize their cost while scaling up the campaigns, right? The second common problem we have seen is you get a lot of people to your website, but because of the festive frenzy, you don't get so many conversions. People are actually trying to window shop, people are comparing prices across platforms, So the conversion rate becomes a big problem on the brand stores, right? And then, of course, the common challenge about marketplaces launching large festive sales, and how do you really, as a brand store owner, compete with the marketplaces, right? So these are the challenges which I've heard many brands talk about when we work with them. What I'll do today is I'll walk you through some of the festive hacks which we have used successfully across the brands, and I hope that you can get some takeaways from it. Now, just to share some case study to begin with, the question is, can brands really scale rapidly during festive season? And the answer is absolutely yes. I'll give an example of a brand called CAF. It's a very large global kitchen appliances brand. They scaled in the last 6 months post-COVID. They were able to increase their revenue on their website by 6 times. And in the run up to the Diwali in India, they were also able to scale very rapidly. They plan to maintain this momentum in the next 3 to 4 months during the entire festive season. So the idea is, if CAF can do it, a lot more direct to consumer brands can replicate that success, which is the agenda of my today's talk. So I know we spoke about the cost of ads. I thought I'll share with you some data around what we have seen. These numbers are in roughly in INR. So roughly you can expect that 70 INR is $1. So as you can see, during the COVID, we saw CPM rates of $0.50, which was the lowest we saw in the Southeast Asian market. But in the run up to the festive season, in the months of September, October, and November, I guess, the cost of ads has been going up. This is cost of 1,000 impressions on a platform like Facebook or Google. As you can see, the trend is very clear. It has become like $1.50 right now. And the way it's currently going, we'll probably see like it touching $2 and $3 by December. So this is what I thought I'll just share with you some data before we actually jump into it. So, so here are the 10 festive hacks I'll talk about. These are 10 slides. I'll pick one by one and discuss through it. I'm happy to answer questions during the Q&A session towards the end of this. The number one is you should diversify spends across platform. I know Southeast Asia is really big on social platforms. There is a tendency to over-invest in, let's say, something like a Facebook or an Instagram, because that's where you get a lot of sales from. But one word of caution during festives, do not over-rely on one single platform. Try to maintain a balance across Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Google as a platform, right? And the reason this is very important is social platforms are very prone to CPM fluctuations, which is cost of ads fluctuations. We haven't seen those fluctuations so much on platforms like YouTube and Google. Okay, so if you are maintaining a balance across them, let's say you have like 60% on social platforms, 20% on Google, 20% on YouTube, you will be less prone to fluctuations. So do make it a point to diversify across platforms. And I'll give an example of Indian wedding sarees. They did this diversification. They reduced the reliance on social, and they were able to bring down their costs by 20% during the festive season, which is very counterintuitive. So that was the first hack. The second one I'm going to talk about is an option called smart shopping campaigns. Now, I know a lot of you would have searched on Google something like a specific product, and you would see ads of exactly the same product along with an image, along with a URL, a brand name. These are known as smart shopping ads or shopping ads. And the platform is, of course, google.com. What is very interesting is the kind of traffic you get using these smart shopping ads is very high intent traffic. These are people who are looking at buying the specific product which you have on your website. Not only the specific product, also the same attributes. It could be like a pink dress. It could be like a high heel shoes. But these are people searching for the specific products. And what we have seen during festives is the volume of inbound searches increase, not only on marketplaces like Amazon, but also on Google. So this is your great time to capitalize on the festive intent and run shopping ads. The same website which I spoke about, they got 50,000 people coming to their website in one single month by searching attributes of their products. So the second hack is run smart shopping campaigns. Now, the third one is very focused on social platforms, which is Facebook and Instagram mainly. Use something called overlays on these platforms. Okay. Now, if you look at the image on the left side, there is a small ribbon. It has some Christmas colors in it, gives you a good festive feel. And it also has a overlay on the left side, which has a strike through price. It shows you, look, the market price was like $75, $84, and you're getting it at a good discount. It comes at around $75, right? So this is a kind of a creative which works really well. It catches user attention because it has a good overlay. It also shows the discounted and the sale price very clearly. It has a call to action, shop now. So it gets people with the right intent. And it also highlights on the price very clearly so that people have the right expectations when they come to your website. Now, this helps you overcome the challenge of low conversion rates because people are in the sales frenzy. You don't want people coming with the wrong expectation. Imagine I'm a discount hunter wanting to get a 70% off. Heritage Foods is not the brand I should be clicking on or I should be going on because they are not offering a 70% off, right? So set the expectations correctly, show the price and the discount clearly, and show overlays to attract user attention. That's the third hack for today. The fourth one is again something which a lot of brands struggle with during festive season. They tend to overcommit and underdeliver. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. I've seen brands writing about minimum 50% off, minimum 70% off, or throwaway sale. The challenge which happens is when you set the expectations way too high, customers, when they come to your website, they don't convert. Imagine I'm looking at an ad of minimum 70% off. In my mind, I'm going for a 90% discount, right? And when I land on your website and I see that most of the products are like 60, 70 off, and there are very few products which are 90 off, I'm not going to convert on your website. And we have seen these cases, ads which are focusing on too much on those minimum 50% off. They have a good click rate, but they have a very poor conversion rate. So don't overcommit. You would rather be better off being slightly conservative in your ad text, saying that up to 40% off, up to 50% off, but don't set the expectations way too high. These are like clickbait messages, and trust me, they don't work. They will get you a lot of irrelevant audience. The fifth, which I'll talk about today, is when you are showing ads on any platform, right? People come to your website to buy a specific product. They are not coming to your website to explore your categories and then let's browse through which product I want to buy. Because if they want to do that, most likely they will do it on marketplaces, right? They come to your brand store because they like that specific product which you are showcasing in the ad, and they want to buy that specific product. So make their journey very easy. Don't show them a product and land them on the homepage and let them keep scouting for that product. That's a bad user experience. You will find that the conversion rates drop when you do that. So as a rule of thumb, in 90% of the cases, you should always land people on the product pages, show them a specific product and land them on the product page for the same product. Avoid promoting a full collection, avoid promoting general sale banner ads and landing people on home pages or category pages. People buy specific products. Landing on category page typically has lower conversion rates. In this specific case, I'm talking about a brand, Global Republic. They saw that their add to cart percentage suddenly jumped when they started landing people on the product pages. And rule of thumb is very simple. The lesser the clicks, the higher the conversion rate. So don't make your user do a lot of hard work on your website. It is not going to give you the right returns. Moving on, I know a lot of us have seen these kind of ads on Facebook. Nothing fancy about them. I'm talking about video ads. We often see them on our feed. What many advertisers don't realize is the cost of showing a video ad on Facebook or Instagram is much lower than the cost of showing a banner ad. or a carousel ad. It might sound counterintuitive, but that is how it is, because video ads typically get higher engagement. So Facebook gives a huge benefit to a video ad. Sometimes video ads go for like less than 50% the cost of your regular ads. So make the most of it. Run as many videos as you can. Highlight the USP of the product. And as I said, land on the product page. But this is one strategy which can help you reduce your cost of ads during festivals. Some of the brands we saw, they completely shut down their newsfeed ads, completely killed the carousel ads, and they focused only on video ads, which was able to reduce the cost of ads. In this specific case, they got 76,000 video views in a very small period of time, organic skincare company, and they can also retarget these views to get more conversions. The seventh is very linked to the sixth, except for the fact I'm talking about YouTube ads. Now, YouTube is, I feel it's one of the underdogs when it comes to advertising. If you look at the amount of time which people spend on YouTube versus, let's say, Facebook and Instagram, it's not going to be very off. Especially in the post-pandemic, people have started spending more time on YouTube. But if you look at the amount of spends which e-commerce companies do on YouTube, it would be less than 10% of their overall spends. Almost all the brands we work with have been ignoring YouTube. But I've seen that this is one of the blue ocean strategies which any brand can use today. Get onto YouTube, run YouTube ads. Just two words of caution there. One is run a YouTube for Action campaign. YouTube for Action is a conversion optimized version of YouTube. Don't run a awareness or a branding campaign on YouTube. Second point is, again, as I said, run product video ad on YouTube and land people on the product page. Don't run a brand video ad and land people on the home page. The same rule of thumb is applicable. The lesser the clicks, the higher the conversion rate. So you want people to land on the product pages and not on the home page. So again, a brand I'm talking about here is they sell sanitary pads, very rapidly scaled using YouTube. And that leaves me with last 3 slides and 3 tips for today. This one is about average order value, right? Now I'm talking about a store called Entertainment Store. They sell Avenger accessories and merchandise across India and a couple of Southeast Asian countries. Now, as you know, most of the merchandises are like low value, like $5, $3, $2, right? The problem comes is when you're selling like a $5 coffee cup on your website, you're not going to make money, because most likely you will pay that $5 to Facebook to get the person. And when the person buys a $5 coffee cup, there is no money you have made, right? So a good festive strategy is to create festive combos. Combine your mug with your t-shirt, with your pen, with your cap, and make like an Avenger fan bundle, which could be like a Christmas offer or a Diwali offer, and sell it for like $20 or sell it for like $50. People in festive time are more likely to purchase and splurge money. They want to buy bigger pack sizes. So give them that opportunity. And just by increasing your average order value from, let's say, $10 earlier to $20 now, you will be able to improve the efficiency of your marketing campaigns. Similar strategy, number 9, which is most e-commerce companies have a wide range of products on your website. So you will have certain categories which will be like low value. You will have certain very big categories like coffee maker or like any other white goods, which could be more expensive. So during festive, just ignore your small categories. Okay, like for example, home utensils is a brand. They sell in Saudi, and what we have seen is during festive, they focused on their coffee maker, and they didn't focus much on their small items like, let's say, dual portable wall socket, which is a very low average order value product. And just by doing this, they were able to push a lot of high value inventory into the market during festive. And as I said, people are more likely to purchase high ticket items. So this strategy works really well. It also helps you cater to the low cost of ads. High cost of ads, because it's very expensive to show ads. you might as well push your more expensive product so that you can still get profitability. And the last one for today is something which I think Avadhoot also spoke during the Netcore presentation. Remarketing as a strategy is super, super important. You cannot ignore people who have interacted with you in the last 6 months. These could be people who have come on your social pages, Facebook, Instagram. They have probably come to your website home pages. They have watched your video 2 months back. They might have added a product to cart a month back, but never made a purchase. Or they could be your customer who purchased from you 3 months back. So everybody who has interacted with you in the last 6 months, you should retarget them on platforms like Facebook and Google. We have usually seen that retargeting gives very good results. So if you retarget them, you'll be able to get very good efficiencies. There are ways where you can also upload your offline customer data. So one question came that if you are an offline seller, how do you start moving your customers online? Very good way, upload your email ID, upload the phone number on Facebook and Google both. They do a hashing on those, so don't worry about privacy. And then you can target those people on Facebook, Google, get them on your own website and make a purchase. So your offline customers can actually become your online customers just by uploading this customer data. So that's, it kind of summarizes the 10 strategies I want to talk about today. This is a good slide if you want to take a screenshot. In a nutshell, diversify spends, run shopping, use overlays, avoid clickbaits, showcase specific products and not categories, videos we spoke about, YouTube ads, festive combos, high value products like we spoke about the coffee maker, and lastly remarketing. So if you do these 10 things, may not be all of them, even if you do like 5 or 6 of them successfully, I can assure you that Festive is going to bring you a lot of sales and you will overcome the challenges we spoke about. A little bit about Adyogi before we wrap up. Adyogi is a marketing automation platform. We integrate with platforms like Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce. We pull all the catalog and the inventory from them. We also pull analytics data from Google Analytics. And we're able to provide you a platform to create ads across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google, YouTube with the click of a button. We are a premier partner of Facebook, Google, and Shopify in India. And the idea is we help you get the maximum returns on your ad spend by doing creative automation and with in-depth analytics. These are some of the global brands we work with across multiple segments. A good clientele is apparel, but we also have a lot of CPG brands we work with. And so that brings me to the end of my presentation. Happy to connect over LinkedIn and happy to take the questions. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Anshuk. I think a lot of people are raising hands and we are almost to the verge of live interactive session. So maybe we can start with Anshuk itself, Dharmendra, and let's give attendees rights to speak with Anshuk.
So there's one questions in Q&A. Let's take first the particular questions from Ratna, and then we can open the forum for our attendees. So they can interact directly with our speakers, whatever the question they have.
Right. So Ratna has a question, Anshuk. What strategy would you suggest to a brand which sells on marketplaces and also their own website? So she says that in a scenario like Diwali event where people are looking for the best price and also searching across platforms, it's difficult for brands to match prices. What is the strategy that you would recommend in that case?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is a common problem a lot of brands face. So I want you to first understand the mindset difference between marketplace and brand. Okay, when a customer is on marketplace, he or she can see your brand and 10 other competing brands on the same page, right? So you have a huge price pressure on the marketplace. Okay, and the second is also a platform like Amazon will charge you as a percentage of sale. So if you sell a 300 rupee product, they will probably charge you 30%, which is 100 rupees. If you sell like, let's say extreme $100 product, they will probably charge you like 30%, which is $30, right? On the website, it's different. Website, you don't pay for a cut of sale. You pay to Amazon, you pay to Facebook and Google for the traffic you bring in. So if you sell a $5 or a 300 rupee product on your own website, chances are you will not make money, like I said in my presentation also, right? So differentiate your categories across marketplaces and website. On marketplaces, you can push your discounted inventory, or let's say fast moving inventory, or let's say your flagship products at lower prices. On website, you can keep it more for your premium inventory, your new arrival inventory, your more expensive collection, so that there is no price comparison between the two, right? It's not a great idea to have the same SKU on both at different prices. Definitely not the best strategy. It doesn't work. Customers are smart enough to figure that out. So instead of trying to match the prices, which could be very, I would say, expensive on the website, just have a differentiated inventory across the two platforms, if it's possible in your case.
Right. Thank you, Anshuk. Anshuk, there is another question from Makul. He says that I'm running social media campaign from last 4 years and I am into a skincare brand. So I have major changes in the Facebook, like the CAC is increasing day by day. I can understand that there are a lot of brands who are running ads. So so my CAC is increasing. Many other brands like Mamaearth have taken the funding and they're running ads with low product cost. So he says that my question is that how will my startup survive and how can I compete in these cases?
Absolutely. So I think, again, very relevant question. I'll tell you what I've seen in DTC brands. I know funding is really good because you can pump in money into marketing. But if you look at the Adyogi brands, the brands we work with, 80% of the brands are self-funded, which means that they would figure out a way of optimal efficiency on these platforms so that the marketing cost is recovered using the sales you get. And that is, I think, the most sustainable way of growing. So I would highly recommend any brand to not rely on funding. If you're able to get it, that's really good. But direct to consumer is one way where you don't require like a huge amount of initial expenses to start reaching out to your customers. You can actually start with a small marketing budget like $1,000 or maybe $5,000 and still get sales to take care of your marketing spends. Now, purely just from I think couple of points there, if you are in the beauty space, like you said, one way of getting higher efficiencies is create as many user generated content as possible. So if you can get videos of your products, if you can get testimonial ads, if you can get your customers to use your product and record their videos and use the user generated content, UGC as we call it, on Facebook and Instagram, you will see your cost efficiencies go up. If you're getting a 3x, you'll probably get a 5x. Beauty doesn't sell on image ads or carousel ads. It sells purely on UGC.
Great. Thank you so much, Anshuk. Maybe, Dharmendra, we can take 1-2 questions live. Maybe we can ask.
Now we can open the forum. So can we do we have all the speakers over here? So Christophe, you're there. Jeff, I think Gautam is not there, and
That's fine. I think let's start with the speakers who are there.
Yep, I'm here. Hi.
So can we give the rights, like we can see 2 hands on Sahid and Ratna. So can we give speaking rights to Sahid? Is it possible?
Abhishek, are you there? Can you please give the speaking rights?
Abhishek, you're there? I think there's some problem. So meanwhile, Abhishek gets connected. So we have some few questions which we collected during our surveys. So we have taken some common questions. So Jeff, for you, there is a question.
Dharmendra.
Hello.
I have given Ratna the speaking right, so she can speak.
Hi, Ratna. Can you hear?
Hi, Dharmendra. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. So,
Okay.
to whom you want to ask the questions, like?
I have a question for Anshuk actually, just continuing from what it's not possible to type, and obviously everybody needs a chance.
Please go ahead.
Yes, a great thought on differentiation of category. I loved your presentation on the hacks and very practical suggestions. I just wanted to know where you are suggesting that brands could differentiate based on categories. Now in India, given the challenges that we have in terms of supply chain and minimums, most times it's not possible for brands to have a unique assortment across marketplaces and websites. So any suggestions there, in terms of your ad strategy, or any particular suggestions that you would like to tell us?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So I'll tell you a simple solution there. Let's say, for example, you have 100 products on your website. Okay.
Right.
Out of them, let's say 50 are discounted, 50 are non-discounted. Okay.
Right.
So what you can do, the easiest way, put these 100 on Amazon, put these 100 on your website. No differentiation. Okay.
Right.
Keep the prices same on Amazon, keep the prices same on website. If it's deep discounted, that is okay. The full price inventory is okay. Okay.
Right.
Now
Right.
on the website, when you're marketing, push only the 50 products which are non-discounted. Okay?
Correct.
You don't want to waste even 1 rupee on Facebook to push your discounted inventory because it's deep discounted, I'm assuming. Okay?
True.
And on Amazon, you can push the 50 ones which are deep discounted. Okay.
Right.
So what will happen is most people on Amazon will buy the discounted ones. Most people on your website will come for the non-discounted ones. Some of them might still buy discounted, but that is okay.
Makes sense. Yes. Great, Anshuk. Thank you so much. I mean, just a continuation to my question. Thank you, guys. It was a very
Thank
enlightening
you,
session
Ratna.
from everybody.
Hope,
Thank you.
Anshu,
Yeah.
hope you got your answer. So
Yes, I did.
we can see Shahid is there. So can we give a rights to Shahid? Abhishek?
Already given.
Shahid, can you hear us? Are you there, Shahid? I think we'll be facing some challenge. So I'll take few questions. So Jeff, there is a question for you. Now we are around the festive seasons. Order volume is going to be increased. So as order volume also is increasing, so definitely we're going to see the returns also, or the failed deliveries, which is going to come to the origin. So how do you ensure like increasing the fulfillment percentage? Like failed deliveries, which leads to goods coming back to the origin, become a huge pain point. So how do you increase the fulfillment percentage?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, that's the value of having one of our platform. I've mentioned earlier, right? We have this deliveries.ph where we aggregate logistics service providers in one platform. And by doing so, and while they're using it, they'll have their own data and understanding where what are the strengths of the courier, which area does this courier normally fails their delivery. That's the courier side, okay? So for the courier side, it's good for you to understand the profile of the courier, their strength. That's why the design of our courier is, design of our system is you get to create your preferred lineup of provider based on area, based on customer demographic items being shipped. So while having all the data in one platform, you can compare and understand further which are the best lineup to service your customer to minimize such. But if you don't have that data yet, it will be tough for you to actually implement it right away. To minimize, there's many sides of the story. That's why the items are being returned, especially in our ecosystem in the Philippines, where cash on delivery is very common, or it's a common transactions in the Philippines. I know a lot of platforms or e-commerce merchants. What they do, they create their own process to validate and confirm orders to their customer before booking the services and dispatching the goods to their customer as a validation and to minimize such event. In case there are issues with the couriers and the customers are complaining that they never received the items, they can always ask for proof of delivery, of proof of failure that they really did attempt the delivery, for you to have like a satisfaction. And that's something you can actually share towards your customer, that the rider really went there, the attempt was really done, for them to be more comfortable or like understand what really happened to the delivery process.
Right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for answering the question. So, Christophe, I have questions for you.
Dharmender, 1 second.
Yeah, please.
So I just want to appeal to the audience. If they have any questions, so please raise your hand so that I can give you the speaking rights. And then after you can raise your question to the respective speakers. So would request you all to please raise your hand if you have any question to ask. Thank you. Please go on.
Yeah. So Christophe, I have a question for you. It's more towards the Omni part. So what advice would you give it to the brands who are now considering to go as Omni? So as experts of successful Omni channel implementations. So as because it's require a huge operational changes. So what a brand should consider in mind while going towards Omni part from offline to online?
So again, I think for me, the first thing is to really start with the customer and really redesigning your customer journey, because you would have probably have created your offline customer journey, and you would have created your e-commerce or your digital customer journey, and you're starting to actually remove it. So the first thing I would try to do is to really design a target customer journey, and then identify what is the capability gap that are missing in order to try to actually connect the dots and close that customer journey. The good thing about starting with the customer as well is that it is going to allow you to prioritize in which area you need to be focusing on, right? Is that a specific feature? Is that around the merchandising? Or is it about being able to orchestrate your orders from a backend standpoint with implementing workers, because that matters. So it will really depends on where you are. A lot of companies as well have, I mean, at least in the region, right? Also have a lack of enterprise architecture to be able to support that, right? And so there will be situations where you're going to have to see how you can, again, leverage the cloud or some platforms like Unicommerce to leapfrog into delivering that capability of omnichannel. But the one-liner basic short answer is that start building, designing a target customer journey and try and identify the gaps that you have in order to actually create that journey. And you prioritize the activities or the capabilities around anything that brings value to the customer first. If it brings value to the customer first, then the rest will trickle down, right, in terms of customer lifetime values, profitability, and overall customer experience.
Great. Thank you for such your answering these questions. Now I have a question for Anshuk. So Anshuk, what are the some key strategies a brand should adopt when scaling their own website, like sales using paid ads or other things?
Right. I think I'll tell you some general strategies. I think festive specific anyways I covered. So one is, I think 2 or 3 of them. Number one is a lot of brands, when they start promoting on social media, they typically go for very top of the funnel campaign. By top of the funnel campaign, I mean awareness campaign,
Right,
or a click campaign. Now, this becomes a challenge because you end up attracting a lot of people who are more likely to click on the ads, but not many of them would actually be open to purchasing your products. So I would recommend any brand who is starting up, go for something called conversion campaign or purchase optimized campaign on all the platforms, whether it is Facebook, Instagram, or Google. When you do that, they show ads to those people who have purchased in the past or who are more likely to purchase on your website. So don't go with awareness campaigns. Those are more meant for FMCG kind of brands. But if you are an e-commerce trying to get sales on your web store, go for a conversion optimized campaign.
great. Thank you, Anshuk. So coming back again to Jeff, I think there are a few more questions related to logistics part as orders are increasing. Now questions like of Jeff. Now logistics play a very important role in customer experience, particularly in the light of disruptions what we saw. So what innovation are you seeing by logistic companies to have a smooth customer experience?
Can you repeat it again? Sorry, it's breaking up.
So I said like logistic will play a very key role in ensuring a smooth customer experience, right? So what innovations are you seeing by logistic companies to have a smooth customer experience?
Technically, a lot of logistics companies, what I've seen so far is they're really making an effort to actually enhance the visibility of the deliveries. So that's always the gap ever since, where a lot of them, even though they have a website or a system, things are being updated manually so that So there's always a gap until the job has been updated in the system. So a lot of them are really making an effort, investing on a system to provide visibility and also to provide a detailed tracking or history of the fulfillment effort that has been done. So since we were scoping and understanding the pains in logistics, we've been hearing like it's really tough to get a proof of delivery or even an attempt that the courier provider really went to attempt the delivery and not just marking the job as done. But now with the technologies that they're investing on, provide recording every history and activity of the riders, like what we've done in the fleet system, I think that would actually change the game. And also the notification feature, automated notification to have a closer relationship or experience that they're notifying the customer the delivery will be done within the day. So no one will be surprised that the delivery was there and nobody's home. So with all those notification and optimization efforts through technology that they're doing is very, very good. Okay, and for the US part, like they're really trying to cut down the delivery timeline by improving deliveries by using technology. They're doing research with robotics, drone delivery, which is very exciting. And I'm a drone pilot myself. I've been flying drones for ages, so I know that's really possible. Like it's just that the regulations in the local air, especially here, it's really tough. It's not really being implemented really tough. So it's more of like the local regulations and the discipline of the people who will be using the service will be tough. But I can see like really strong progress, cutting down the delivery time. It will make them feel like you're really ordering it right now and you're getting the item right now. It's really good.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. So now coming to Christophe, now I have a questions like generally it's a common question everyone asks while going online and creating any Omni or the part. So what are the top 3 consideration one should consider while choosing a platform? And can you also give a stepwise approach towards Omni? Means how they should go towards Omni as a stepwise. So first, how I should go online, and what should be the process of going towards the Omni channel?
So the first thing is that going online, you're going there because you know your customers are there. So whether you're in a B2B or B2C business, you have to understand. The second thing is that understanding, who are the category leaders, who are the people who actually have already offering a certain set of user experiences, services as best practices, because that sets the tone of your customer's expectation. So that's the starting point. When you start, you have to go from a traditional offline business. Is that what should be the user experience online? Again, my take is that you should not look at them separately, but look at it from a customer perspective and really look, acknowledging that it's not going to go switching from 0 to 80% online. It's going to have to go gradually. So you need to actually put that in place. In terms of the choice of platform, it is therefore driven by the type of customer experience or omnichannel customer experience that your business needs to be able to deliver to your customers that will drive that choice, right? So that's one. The second thing is that how much enterprise solution do you already have? Are you in a business where you've got a very well set up ERP, WMS? Do you have a CDP? Do you have a CRM? Do you already use customer automation? Right? So if you already have that, your job is actually a bit easier, right? Because you don't have to actually invest a lot of capex to actually build that architecture. Now, if you don't have anything, you've got a couple of options. It's like upgrade on I would say an online solutions that has more components than the pure transaction, right? If we talk about commerce, the basics about catalog, cart, and account, but by looking at solutions that have a broader set of platform with might be limited in their terms, but a standalone PM, a standalone CDP, some basic OMS capability. And the last thing is that to close the gap is to look at very perhaps more niche, smaller, more limited, but cloud solutions that allows you to close the gap, either transfer data from one legacy system to the new online platform, or actually, solutions like Unicommerce that really allow you to start bringing SOPs, best practices in order management, right? Catalog or stock and order management. Once you have that and you're leveraging SaaS solutions, you're actually substituting or let's say leapfrogging and actually getting a lot more omni-channel capabilities to orchestrate, right, your omni-channel value proposition and also the orders, the leads, the orders that are coming from an architecture. So using SaaS solutions to close that capability gap, bringing in as standard operating processes, best practices is probably the best way.
Okay. Thank you, Christopher. So I request attendees if they have any questions, they can raise their hands if they want to ask any question.
There's a question for Anshuk in the chat box. I think I'll just ask it. Anshuk,
Yeah.
they're asking what is the possibility of selling food items like nuts, spices, and honey through a Shopify site using Facebook ads?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a good question. We have seen brands successfully able to do that, but I would suggest a couple of things. So let's say you are selling honey. So sell like a big pack of honey, which could be like a half a liter honey. Don't try to sell like a small unit of honey, which is 100 ml, which might cost like 200 rupees or maybe even less. So don't do that. So bigger packs. Second, you should be able to differentiate the USP of the product. So if you're selling honey, then you have to tell your customers what is so special about this honey, which they can otherwise not get from the big brands which are already present. Okay, so as long as you can differentiate your product really well, and differentiation is slightly tricky because you will have to like communicate either through the ad messaging which you put on Facebook or through the product page which you have on Shopify. But try to like bring out that product differentiation, which is the USP of the product. Bigger pack, like I said. Yes, I think then you should be able to do that. And you can do the same thing for nuts and spices also. So create like a mix of nuts, which could be like a multi-nut kind of a pack, which again costs like $10, $20, $30. Similarly, spices could also be like a mix of spices, which costs $10, $20, $30. So bigger ticket sizes and USP would be important.
Right. And you think Facebook ads would be the right way to go about it?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have seen, like we have a brand called twobrothersforms.com and they sell ghee products. They sell bigger pack of ghee for like 2,000, 3,000 organic ghee, and they do exceptionally well. So they have grown phenomenal over the last 6 months. So this whole CPG category, Facebook and Instagram are very good platforms for it.
Right. Interesting.
I think there is no more questions. I think there is no more questions. So we are now towards the end of our first day session. So if there is any question, like I'll request attendees, if they have any questions, they can raise hands. We'll give them the speaking rights. They can ask directly their questions to our speakers.
We all request you also to give the feedback of the session. We have got some responses, but would request everybody else to also vote.
Great. So I think now we are headed towards our first day session. So thanks to all speakers for your valuable inputs, suggestions, and advices you can act it upon will lead to a turning point for our listeners. I hope so. So thanks a lot for listening and being such a wonderful audience also.